welcome to Flying Orcs, the Wandering Isles. My name is Ken, and I'm here joined with... Do I have their social name set up? I do. Excellent. We have Mr. Rhino joining us today, playing a Madriana Bloodfist. We have Kean Griffin pointing at his own name and playing Mr. Dash Heidman. Rory playing Eos, because I won't tackle that. I won't tackle that full name.
Full name.
Izzy playing Hatsu Toshitsugu. And Richard playing Slate. I knew you said Slate playing Richard. That would have been a nice reversal of fortune, but
how do you know it isn't?
That's true. Like, next time I see Rory sitting in two windows, we'll know. Like, that is something we should work on. Maybe I should be able to, like, anytime Richard takes on like one of the other characters as Slate, I should have your camera fit down onto his as well.
Just flip horizontal.
yeah. Just before we begin, a quick reminder of why Kean has a handlebar on his face. If you want to just take it away there, I'll put it in chat. Ooh.
Yeah, way ahead of you. Already put it in. Yes, so this lovely 70s porno facial appendage is due to Movember, which I am doing and running, and I have 1 week left, or what, 10 days? 10 days left. 10 days left. I have one more stream after this where I have this god-awful thing on my face.
I think it's going to be more than that, right? Because like, it's not going to just disappear. Are you going to shave it off completely again?
Well, no, see, what I'm thinking is I'll get rid of the handlebars once I hit 1st of November, let the beard grow in.
Oh, you really don't want to take your daughter to school,
sure.
do you?
Well, I'm going to turn this into like an evil Tash kind of thing.
Okay.
You mean like that one?
Oh, like the curves?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly.
Like dastardly?
Dastardly. yeah. Exactly that. Just in time for Dash to spill an arc.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. 100%.
Exactly, but it's all for a good cause, raising funds and awareness for men's mental health. The Movember link is in the bio there. We've raised 500 quid so far. I don't think I'll hit the 2,500 by the end of the month, but it was a lofty target anyway. 500 quid is a lot. But yeah, it's just about getting the conversation going for men who feel, well, not just men, I suppose, anyone, but the focus this month particularly is on men's mental health. So if you are struggling, reach out to someone, reach out to us, come join us, play games with your friends, that kind of thing, all helps. But yeah, thank you to everyone who has donated, and I can't wait to have my beard back.
Hell yeah. And a quick question from chat saying, when is Ryan's beard changing for the season? I don't think you get to see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's going to be this weekend, and yeah, tonight is my last night with you guys for the season.
We'll have you back after the holidays, right?
Absolutely. Well, unless the kids have killed me by then.
We'll see how it's going for sure.
Give us the sweets, fat man!
But a quick shout out just for the socials and stuff, and if you're listening to the podcast or anything like that, you should definitely just look it up and check it out. We usually put the links into the podcast chat too, but Deranged Rhino last year, which was one of the probably the coolest points of any stream I've ever seen, in full Santa garb, read a book to the kids, read The Grinch, and it was so enticing and entrancing that there were like so many people in chat just watching it, but it was like all adults just talking about how great this is and stuff, and like a few people like, oh yeah, my kid's watching, it's great, and then there was a lot of people like, I was just sitting there like, this is great, Santa's reading the book. So definitely hopefully something like that's happening in this year, but definitely worth following and checking out, because that's a very special thing, especially if you've got
kids. My Christmas Eve address that I do. Yeah, and it will be happening.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait.
But for now, I want you to read a different book to me, Rhino. If you want to do our recap today, pal.
Okay. Well, this book is called The Dastardly Bitch in the Tavern.
Is it a Grinch spin-off?
We got straight from Santa to the Grinch.
I'm pretty sure this isn't the one you'll read on stream for Christmas, but maybe.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Maybe after dark, but...
Right.
That's a New Year's Eve book.
Yes, exactly. So, we were sent to a foreign land to find a potion that would be best used in our hands. We travelled through snow. We travelled through rock. Dash is a bit of a pillock.
I was really wondering where you go with that.
We played with some Yetis. We found a cursed tomb. Hopefully Dash doesn't destroy Alyssa's womb.
Oh my god.
We ended up in a tavern where a Majorana fucked up, put Eos in danger. She won't do that again. But it has led us to what we're doing today. Finding some monsters that we're gonna fucking slay.
Oh yeah.
Ho ho ho, bitches.
I have a machine gun now. Ho ho ho.
Oh, it's Futurama Santa. No!
Artificer Santa.
At the butt crack of dawn, you guys emerge from the tavern, ready for a new adventure. Orla already waiting. A new adventure ahead of you. Something that I should have mentioned last week, but only occurred to me about 12 seconds ago. Are there any last minute things you want to do here before you leave the town in search of this creature?
Did we get any idea of how long we're going to be searching?
You can ask her.
Could do, but I kind of don't like talking to her.
Well, here's the general consensus. When you go out on a hunt for something, you don't really have like, well, we'll slay it by 6 and be back by 8. That's not really a thing. So you have to find it. It could be an afternoon, could be a day, could be a week, could be a month, could be a year. Who knows? I'm assuming not a year. At some point, you guys will probably give up, but...
Is there any... when I was kind of doing my exploring beforehand, was there any buildings in the town that looked quite, shall we say, affluent, or are they all fairly run down?
This place looks like...
basic?
Yeah, it's not really the most high-class place you've been to. You would imagine that any and all resources that are in any way spare here go to research and not to anything else. That is the purpose of this place.
Okay, so I'll just kind of... just when talking to Lissa and Adriana, I suppose, I just kind of whispering to this... Nothing here I'd kind of feel comfortable stealing, to be honest.
Especially not at 6 a.m.
No.
It's early for you, is it?
This is illegal.
Our usual targets don't get out of bed until like 4 p.m. And then they wake up and they immediately get drunk.
But surely when they're asleep is the easiest time to rob them.
When they're
Not
out
the way we
is
do it.
the easiest time to rob them.
Yeah. If they're asleep and you break in, you get, they're there, you get caught. But if they're awake and you're there, you're just there.
If they're asleep, I was going to say you shouldn't get caught, but I've seen you and I've heard you, so that makes sense.
Exactly.
Fair.
Play to your strengths.
I'm surprised you didn't talk them to sleep.
Out here, probably in Palbaroth, they're so fucking boring.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about their gold, where they have their investments, and ooh, I made 6% this week. Oh, great! Oh, God, they make me sick.
But you are
they're
right.
easy to rob.
Alyssa just leans against the windowsill of the tavern and just closes her eyes.
You are right. This place is a bit easy. Not really a challenge, is it?
Not even that. Kind of, they don't have anything
Low
to
risk,
take from
low
them.
reward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you steal one piece of gold from a person here, honestly, I kind of feel bad because that's probably everything they've ever earned in their life. One piece of gold in Palbaroth is nothing, So what would be the point?
And
It would be missed.
Stealing is bad.
Oh, yes, it can be bad.
Sometimes, Eos, it's a matter of reappropriation. If a businessman who is essentially mugging people for the prices of his goods because he knows that they're sought after and only he can provide them, Is it not a good thing now and again to reappropriate some of that money back to those that suffer?
Or if an
Dash
evil
never said he worked for
dictator.
a charity. Dash never said he was a charity worker.
No, I think I did.
I mean,
Your mother was coal miner, tailor,
don't forget jeweler.
sailor.
Oh,
No,
that's me.
just a tailor. Yeah. But anyway,
That
I
you
don't know
know
how many
of.
times we can have this conversation. You know, it's like I don't steal from bad people, or from good people rather. I only steal from bad people.
Don't steal from bad people. I only steal from the people who don't deserve it.
So you
Well-
consider Remington a bad guy?
No, he set me a challenge. Very different.
Hmm.
He
Got you
wanted
there a
me
little
to.
Went
bit.
further.
You did just say you only steal from bad people. If it was a challenge, your morals surely would have overridden it. So you do think Remington's evil? Are you judging him based on his appearance, or?
Listen, I thought you were sleepy.
Yep.
You did steal one good thing.
Your heart.
No, not mine, you idiot. Listen.
There's just a small click of Bliss's dagger for a moment, and she's like,
Dash just has kind of that cheeky smile. Do we have anything we need to do in town, or shall we go and work
I would
with
suggest you,
this?
as you are the most easiest of us to get around here, suggest maybe picking up some more supplies. I know we've.
Oh, we need rations. We definitely need rations.
Okay, let's pull some money, because I'm fresh out. What do we got?
fresh out. I don't think you've had money for
How-
like 20 sessions.
Probably not. No.
How are you the
I mean-
person always trying to
Well-
steal things, yet you have nothing? Either you're very, very bad at what you do, or you are very, very spendy.
I thought you were the perceptive one. Also, you owe me 10 gold.
That's bullshit. You owe me 10 gold.
No.
But I suppose I'll never see that, since you never have a penny.
The terms of the bet were I
Let's
got
not
in.
go over that now. You're an idiot. We'll talk about that another time when we've got time.
I just turned to Eos and you call me a thief.
You are.
You're a swindler.
So we agree there's a difference.
Actually, that is something I would agree on with you. There is definitely a difference between the two.
Very true. Anyway, rations.
Here, this
Happy to
should
go
be
out.
more than enough in this place. And I'll give him 2 gold.
Yeah, that will definitely be more than enough here. Okay, we'll be back in. Give me 30 minutes. Let's go out to the
Oh, and Dash,
store as well. Yes.
you can keep the change.
How generous of you. You still owe me like 8 more. Then I'll just leave. And I suppose I'll go rations, general store, I guess.
I mean, the tavern would have done as well, yeah. General store's fine.
Well,
In the general store, you kind of look in. The like blinds are kind of closed and the curtains over. You like tap on the door a little bit. What?
got some money to spend.
Do you have money to spend in an hour?
Orla said we gotta leave town shortly, so I'm on her clock.
You just hear a shuffle for a moment and then doof, 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 doof. Just pulls open the door. There's like a jingle of a bell. Yeah. Come in.
Yeah. Morning. Sorry for this.
It's alright, you Palparothians are all the same.
I hear that a lot. I don't agree with it, but it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, well, you still showed up to a shop that was closed, expecting it to be open just for you.
You take it up with Orla. I gotta get some rations for a week, I guess.
A week? How many? Is that like 7?
7. So 7 people, 7 days.
Sorry, so you need 7 rations? For 7 people for 7 days?
Yes.
I can give you 7 rations. That's fine. Yeah.
No, 7 rations per person.
So you want 49 rations?
Yes. We can make it around 50 if that's easier.
Okay, so you want 50 rations for 7 people
Yes.
for 7 days.
50 rations total.
Okay. I need to go down to the storeroom. We don't stock that many rations just on the shelves because that's an obscene amount of rations. I'll be...
Sure. What's the cost before I make you go and get all of it?
What you got?
It depends how much it is.
I see. Well, typically, 1 ration costs, like 5 copper pieces, I think. This new screen makes it very hard for the DM to find out such things. Okay. It looks like 5 copper pieces. I'm gonna say that's what it is, because I can't... It says 5 silver pieces. That's not true. It's 5 copper pieces, yeah.
Inflation.
Yeah, inflation. So it's 5 copper pieces, so whatever 49 by 5 is. That's 245. So 2 silver, no, 2 gold? 10 to 10 to 10. 2 gold and 40 copper. So 2 gold, 4 silver.
2 gold, 4 silver.
And 5 copper.
5 copper.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah,
Oh.
that's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Come back to me in, I don't know, like 10 minutes.
Cool. I can give you a hand bringing stuff up if you like.
Oh, don't trust you Palparothians in the cellar. If you just want to wait outside, I'll close the door and lock it.
Sure.
And he does. And it's like a really loud... Like, it wasn't even locked before. Like, you left it open all night and didn't care, but it's now locked. Just because you were there.
Is there anyone around as I'm waiting?
No. Hannah's dead quiet at this hour.
I just kind of say quietly to myself, and they mocked me for not getting up early. Otherwise, yeah, I'll wait.
Okay. Like 10-15 minutes goes by. What are the rest of you doing while that time is happening?
I'm essentially standing by the door of the room that Alyssa had secured to make sure nobody walks in and sees any of my friends there.
Oh, cool. You guys are in there. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I assume that's where we'd started, so...
Yeah, sure.
Breakfast.
Breakfast? Cool. Yeah. You have a ration because the bar isn't open, but sure.
It's more than what she's used to. All right.
If only you had a silver plate. Yeah, so you guys just have some rations. Just I would say mark off rations for today. That'll get you through the entire day anyway. You do not need to mark off for Orla. She has her own stuff, but still for Ayami and Alyssa.
So 6, right?
It's 7, I think. You 5 and then 2, because Ayami and Alyssa. But Orla eats herself, so she doesn't need it. Yeah.
She eats herself? Wow.
Yeah, cannibals are hardcore. The door, there's a loud and then the door opens, and in the middle of like the room is this massive pile of rations, like this absolutely gargantuan pile, like 50 rations is a lot. Imagine 50 burritos stacked.
Cool. I should have brought a bag.
You should have brought Busy, who has the bag.
Robert, how far are we from the tavern?
How far are you from the tavern? Like, how far are you from, like, you specifically? I don't know. I'm trying not to be a chaos gremlin, so I'll say it's not that far. Like, it's about 2 minutes.
Like, if I was to shout, would Hatsu hear me? That'd probably wake everyone up.
I think you should try it.
Yeah, I've made my deliberate bad impression. I don't want to do an accidental one. So, all right. Sorry, I'm barely wait. Didn't think to bring a fucking. Well, I have this backpack. They'll probably stuff as much as I can.
Plastic bags. They're 5 copper a piece though, because we don't like the litter that it leaves behind. So
yeah, it's not great for the environment, is it? Yeah.
So I mean, I can leave all of these outside the building, and you can go one by one if you want. I don't.
You guys really hold on to that Palproth prejudice here, don't you?
It's not so much a prejudice as a proven.
Well, certain sect of Palproth, yeah, they're absolute pricks, but there's a lot of people grow up in the streets here.
5:30 a.m. and buy 50 rations from you with this gold coins that I have. No change, just exact gold coins. Like, not running on coppers. I'm just saying, that's a very Palprothian attitude. These sunglasses you have, like, around your rim are pretty gaudy. I mean,
they help me see in the dark.
Just like the longest sigh, like maybe 16 seconds of just.
All right, well, here's your.
I like that Dash just went in and outed himself to using magical items. That was an interesting choice. Like, you really want to make your image better.
I love the fact that this world possibly doesn't have properly working and functioning toilets in most of these places, yet they have processed plastics.
Also, nobody said there's no working toilets. There's plumbing in this world. Of course there is.
Yeah, but it's going to be country bumpkin plumbing out here, isn't it?
If you guys want to shit in holes, that's fine, but it's like they have
I've been shitting in holes all this time.
They definitely have Japanese bidets.
I've been going like an animal in the corner. In the corner, of course.
Yeah, Palproth. I imagine Palproth like Mumbai, which is just
wow.
shit the trees.
Oh my god. Pulling this back, reining it in. Dash, how do you plan on moving? First of all, mark off the gold. But second of all, how do you plan on moving?
Will I fit them into my backpack?
I don't know, how much weight do you have in your backpack?
That's a good question. I have like 14 kilos available in my backpack.
Yeah,
that should be enough. Really.
I'll say for now, you'll be doing like, do you know when you actually forget your bag, you go for your shops, so you like use every possible thing. You've got pockets, you're using it in your pockets, you're putting it in like everything. You've got rations sticking out of everything, and you're just like got a couple under your arms and a few in your backpack, and you're like, you're shuffling to the car.
6 bags for life at home.
Yeah. Yeah, you shuffle back to the tavern, and you guys see Dash come in and just like start plummeting like just tons and tons of rations.
It was 2 gold and 2 silver, wasn't it?
I'll just say, yeah, I'll say you round it down. I think there was copper in there too, but I'll just say 2 gold, 2 silver is fine.
Well, I'll give him 3 silver because I'll give him an extra bit for the inconvenience. I'm sure he's going to be so grateful and not sarcastic about it at all.
Got me in a corner here, man. He's grateful for it. He says nothing.
Also, I didn't take the gold from him, Adriano. So, right, if you want to mark it off your side.
I think he just did, yeah.
I did, yeah.
I just saw it marked off there, yeah. So.
Perfect. So
fine.
Go back to stuff and.
Yeah, you bring you.
Yeah. I should have brought a bag. Here we go. This should be enough for quite a while. Oh, so they really hold on to their prejudice here. Fucking hell.
Yeah, humans do that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Humans do.
Awful. They do, though.
They.
Well, it's no secret Dash fucking hates humans. Let's be honest. Don't we all?
Yeah. Right. So you dump them down on the table. Biz, I'd say you can just add 50 rations to the bag. The void satchel, I think we call it. Yeah.
Any other business? We're good. Shall we?
Think we're ready to go.
Did Orla say what this thing looks like?
Humanoid.
Don't think she knew too much herself.
Round it down.
It looks like imagine Dr. Harrow worked on a human. So I imagine small version of Gorebound.
Oh.
That's what I'm picturing. So obviously she wants to kill it, but we don't know what the nature of this thing is. Gorebound, fair enough, we were able to communicate with him, but... So I worry encountering these things, because in a place like this, killing it could be a mercy, but also if it's conscious and just scared, I don't know. We'll see. I don't trust her judgment on it.
Fair. Well, that's a fair view. Even the deer, when you hunt it with a bow and arrow, is conscious and scared until... That's it.
At least then you're killing it for sustenance, not just because you don't like it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Onwards.
Onwards. I guess we go.
The entire time, Ayami had like her backpack on and swords ready. She never put it down, never sat down. She's just ready to go. But Lissa's like lying on the floor, and like she just stands up and she's like, oh, and she grabs her backpack, throws it on, clicks the belt back on. She like scuffs her feet as she's walking out.
DM question: does coffee exist?
Coffee definitely exists. Yeah,
Okay.
coffee exists in both D&D and the Wandering Isles in general. But yeah, there are all sorts.
Wasn't sure. I'm just going to keep that in mind for future morning missions to have a supply of that.
You can indeed get it, and from past campaigns, I remember that was actually like something that the party preferentially did in the morning. They would boil up water, make coffee, and kick the morning in the ass, and that was like a very real thing we brought across. So I will allow it.
Yeah, this is definitely going to need that.
Shane had a magical item to give himself coffee, right?
Endless
But
coffee,
he actually chose to have that over an attuned thing that would actually give him better aim. He chose the coffee over it.
Yeah, you could have like one item each or something. Like he just wanted the endless coffee decanter that he could have. And the only thing that happened on it is you have to roll a d20 every time. And then if you got a 1, it would just stop working for 8 hours, and that was it. It's just that. But yes, coffee exists. So, all right. With that in mind, you guys start to leave. You get outside and Orla's waiting. She's pretty much ready to go. She doesn't really have much to contribute here. Are you guys ready? Or...
Yeah, we're stacked up on rations. Good to go. Shopkeeper wasn't too happy to see me this hour of the morning, but...
Yeah, most people usually do their stocking up before the quest.
Well, we didn't realize we were going on a quest until last night, did we?
Hey man, if you don't stock up when you come to town, that's not on me.
Planned for another day, but... Anywho's, we're here to help you out.
Yeah, and I greatly appreciate it.
Good. Question for you, Orla. I was trying to gauge yesterday when we arrived what's the political stance, I suppose, of the town here. They don't seem... Well, one, they clearly fucking hate Balbaroth. Probably more than I expected. I don't feel any great love for the monarchy here either. Would that be a fair assessment?
Depends on who you talk to. Some people.
Obviously rolling her eyes at politics in the morning.
Politics before coffee is a no-no in this house. Yeah. I mean, look. Some people like the king. Some people don't like the king. I don't know. What are you, like his worshipper? Are you offended that nobody gives a shit about him, or?
Oh no.
That's the king's son. Didn't you know that?
Please make a deception check. I really want this to happen.
Deception. Not my greatest thing.
Can I...
17.
Yeah, I mean, he does kind of look like him.
Yep. Sorrowful bitch as well. The same as him.
Yeah. Well, this should be interesting. Hopefully, a whole army doesn't come knocking at our door just because the king's son gets eaten by a wild boar or something.
I don't think he would care that much, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, well. Are we ready?
After you.
She just kind of turns on toe and just off she goes.
I'll just give Imedrion a little wink and like a well done nod.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep this bitch guessing as much as possible.
Off you guys go into the wilderness. Are you guys bringing the sled full of stuff, camping supplies, that kind of stuff? Or are you just heading with the base level basics and...
We bring in all the shit.
Hmm.
I'm not leaving my sled.
My precious sled.
I'll say that as you guys are walking out, then Slate comes back with the sled itself and has everything ready to go, because we said last week that you were just the one you went off and you parked it, so they wouldn't have even known where it was. So while Dash was dealing with all that, you were just getting that ready. Yeah, so you guys are all together again. You have your sled, tents and all that stuff. You have everything you need. A lot of wood and supplies.
Slate, I have a question.
Hmm?
I just learned that Dash is the son of the king in Paparoth. And I don't understand why he hates him.
Have you ever read the story of the Sewer King?
No, who's the Sewer King?
Well, you've met his son. I'll introduce you to that later. There's no time. He's not the son of the king you think.
I don't understand all these kings in these lands.
Dash, are you really
Well, but
Prince?
thank you.
Lisa turns around like, oh fuck, you all talking about?
I just kind of give just to Eos just a shake of the head.
Good, because you'd be a royal pain in the ass.
Hey.
Where's my Eos pun counter?
I can't even bad at that. That's brilliant. Dash smiles despite himself.
With the travel, there's a very clear direction she's going here. She's heading due east, which is basically straight at the mountain range again. Not as far up as where you guys were. You guys were kind of would be like northeastern from this area, but she's just heading just directly towards the mountains.
I'm going to sidle up next to her. Question for you, as you've been here so long.
Mm-hmm.
What marked the mountains and the ground?
The eruptions.
From the volcano?
She just nods, yeah.
It's a bit far though, isn't it?
Big volcano, big eruptions. It's the last set of them is what made my father perish. It shook the earth.
He got caught in the blast, or?
The town got lucky, but those who were not in the town were not so lucky.
I'm not exactly a... What is it they called him back home? The geologists? Something like that? People
Okay.
that study rocks and stuff like that.
Yes.
But there might have been some actions and consequences based off of a volcanic eruption, but from what we saw, it seemed to be more directed.
How so?
Well, from the way we've been traveling, it seemed that there was a path of somewhat rather than a with these types of eruptions, at least from what I've read before, it seems to be kind of sporadic and no real control to it. Whereas what we witnessed on our way here seemed to be more directed.
Yeah. When I went to Palperoth on my travels, they had a very similar thought process. They did not really know what it was that caused it, or even that it happened until it was reported. There was no obvious signs of it. But from our side, and from the towns around us, it was hard to miss.
I can imagine. And of course, I'm sorry for your loss.
It was difficult to recover. The wildlife was scorched, dead or gone. The trees were mostly destroyed. It was difficult. We've spent a lot of time trying to replant the seeds and lead wildlife this way so that we have supplies for our town.
Yeah, we saw quite a barren mess between us and the coast.
Where do you hail from?
Good. I'm from, not Palperoth per se, but there's a collection of little islands outside. I'm from one of those. My parents escaped there to get us monsters away from the everyday folk.
Her tone changes because she doesn't know how to take that. Like, she's becomes increasingly aware that she's not sure what's under the mask, if that makes sense. And when you say get monsters away from the everyday folk, she doesn't know if you mean like monster like Eos or a monster like, you know,
something worse.
That, yeah, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she becomes a lot more silent after that.
Don't worry, no. Like I said before, we're not trying to hurt anyone. We actually want to do better for this world than what it's previously had.
She still remains quiet, but there's like, if we were to talk about her physicality or emotional state, let's say give me an insight check first.
Okay.
One of those moments I'll call for something rather than that you guys ask.
No.
The 4. There's not much of a change in her demeanor, but like the words went through.
Right.
As you guys are walking, there's a sudden like at first your instinct is okay, she's pulling a dagger, but she actually moves her hand down and stops you, and then she starts moving to the right, and as you follow her you can see that there's this loose padding of snow where it would have been very easy to fall in. It's not something that was very easily noticeable, but it could be a death trap to an unaware person. She just stops you from walking in on that. Yeah.
Seems you've got good tracking skills.
Mostly grew up here.
Do you know how far out you're expecting this creature to be?
The last reports were by the ridges, so that's where we'll go. There's a small lake out there. It could be feeding off the fish, perhaps.
You said it was humanoid looking?
Yeah. It's more from the wounds. Hand marks and sort of strangulations and burn marks, all shaped like humanoid features, and one person said that they reported seeing something humanoid. But it's hard to say if that's true or not.
Marks on bodies, you mean?
Corpses.
Like a burn mark in the chest kind of situation?
Sometimes.
And does it seem to feed on these, or is it killing for the hell of it?
It's hard to say. They have no flesh or remains, other than their bones, which are scorched to nothing.
I give Dash a knowing look of,
He reciprocates. Okay, well. Hopefully we don't fall victim to that. That sounds horrible. Wouldn't be a nice way to go.
Alright. A very sure way to go, though. But that's okay. I've brought supplies to make sure we can handle such things.
Oh, what did you bring?
She reaches for a pouch that is no longer there. Oh. Might be in my backpack. Yeah. She's like contemplating, she's like thinking, like, where did she leave it? She's retracing her steps, like, going over it, but yeah. She eventually is just... Right. I'm sure it's in my backpack. It's a very volatile substance. Something that should help when dealing with a heat monster.
Oh, like black powder?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh. Oh, that'd be very useful.
Yeah,
Good
so
idea. Well done.
I know it's caused a lot of damage, as in it's hurt a lot of people and stuff. Are you going for resolve, or are you going for kill?
There's only one resolve with monsters, and that is kill.
This is why I ask, because I don't believe you understand properly. There is other options.
Like learning where it came from, if there's more, what caused it to come into being in the first place, who made it. You cut off all those avenues if you just simply kill it.
And not inert. To a mouse, is a fox not a monster?
I'm sure if the mouse could, it would kill the fox.
What if it could reason with it? Become allies?
Reasoning is a tool for the weak. I do not see myself as such a weak creature.
Because you can't reason with them? Is that your thought process?
Like you said, the mouse can't reason with the fox.
That's
We're
because
not
it doesn't
nice.
try.
You can try and reason with it. It would be an ample distraction for me to line up my shot. But if one of you falls while reasoning with it, that is not on me. I can make a few suggestions of expendable party members, I'm sure, that can try and reason with it for you.
I just don't think you should be so hasty to believe that all monsters are out for nothing but destruction.
When nothing but corpses show up, it's hard to see anything else. I don't think many monsters kill people for the conversation starter.
Many people do.
Maybe. People can be monsters too. That's why we have prisons.
We agree on that.
Why not take this creature back captive then? Why kill it? Same principle.
Prisons are built for people. There's only one prison built for a monster like this. And crew are welcome to come and take it if they wish. They would just have to find it before I do. I don't really believe in rehabilitation and reformation.
People are pretty set in their ways out here, I notice, Orla.
Perhaps. Small town. Stable
Hmm.
views.
Guess we'll see what we make of it when we find it. For the record, I disagree with your point of view, but I don't think there's any convincing you otherwise.
Hatsu does come a little closer towards Amadriana, and he casually walks by and whispers in her ear. Sometimes a broken heart has a hard time to trust, I guess.
She doesn't say anything, but she'd give a slight twerk to the head that Hatsu would probably see.
To the head?
As in, like, she just kind of gives you like a quick nod kind of thing. Yeah, like understood kind of thing.
Eos is trying to make circles with her breath in the cold air. That's what she's doing.
Nice balance of not innocence in that, but there's just something nice about that.
Mhm.
I mean, in terms of weather for today, it's cold, but it's not snowing. It's not even dark or anything. Like, the sun is directly on you guys. It's just fucking cold. The closer you get to the mountains, the kind of easier that gets, because any semblance of wind starts to ease off and stuff like that as you continue. It's not a particularly strong wind kind of day, otherwise it would be almost dangerous to do this journey. But what wind is there is breaking as you guys approach the mountain. It takes the better part of the day to get there, though. Like, I would say, if you guys left at 6 a.m., I would say you're kind of pushing about 4 p.m. at the moment. Like, it's a journey to get here.
Should we be starting to look for somewhere to kip down for the night, or are you intending to go straight through?
Well, if it's some creature that's emanating fire, it's probably easier to hunt it at night. But at the same time, I am just trying to reach the point. It's just over there with those ridges where the bodies were most recently discovered.
Well, we should probably prep ourselves. So, maybe some tea to warm us up before we potentially encounter it.
Everybody's after that peppermint tea.
God damn, I need my fix. It's like every session since we've left, Dash has been like, tea. Eos got him hooked.
I can make some tea. Miss Monster Hunter, do you want a cup of tea?
It's no response.
Really? Even to such a human and polite offer as a cup of tea?
Well, she hasn't killed us yet.
Now I'm talking to
If there
her.
was a bounty on the prince's head, wouldn't you take it?
No.
He'd do it for free.
Eos just starts preparing. She takes 3 bags out of her sock, and she makes a big.
There's a wild
Big
wolf.
lot
Sorry
of
about
tea.
that.
Chicken. Shh.
Yeah, she makes tea for
She's
everybody.
She makes tea. Yeah, you guys set up a small, like, take a little bit of a break from
Yeah.
walking and stuff. I set up a small spot, start making tea. Nice.
Eos will leave a cup near the Monster Hunter lady. She can have it if she doesn't want. She doesn't care.
Quite good, Orla. It's
You
not
put it-
poison.
You put it down on the stone with the snow, and the snow sort of melts around the cup because it's like, you know, the heat, which is nice. What are you guys doing? So you're just gonna sit down? You're not like unpacking everything, right? You're just gonna sit here
No.
and just have
Just-
like a bit of tea and stuff. Yeah.
A breather.
Pop a squat.
Pop a squat.
Orla, might I ask, We've had conversations about what is not liked out here. What do you like to do?
She just taps her bow.
Hunting? Or, I don't know,
Saving
shoot
people,
targets for
hunting
sports.
things, the family business.
How good's your shot?
Is it a challenge or a question?
I'm curious. Pick a target. Let's see who hits it first. Just
Well, what's your
Curious.
range type? Some people shoot short distances, some people shoot long distances. Do you need a handicap for this?
let's say 100 feet.
Okay. She walks about 100 feet away and she places the teacup down that Eos made, and she comes back.
What's a teacup?
Eos, are you okay with that? You okay with that, Eos?
Go for it. Try hit it.
Okay. Ladies first.
Then you take your lead.
Just a metal cup, like so.
Fair enough. Madriana, are you partaking?
I don't suppose you want two women showing you up, so I'll let you take this one.
Why would I care if a woman shows me up?
You know, just because we're superior to you.
Women are superior in every way. I completely agree. And then I'll take my shot,
Eos
which
looking at this
is
and like,
18.
Nice.
She gets a 21.
Ooh.
Wait, did she split Dash's arrow?
That's what I was about to say. As you take your shot, your arrow is going straight for it, and there's almost this confidence. You know when you see someone bowl and they know it's a strike, so they just kind of turn around? As she lets go of the arrow, and you're like, fuck. And as you look back, you just see your arrow get knocked out of the way and hers hit the cup. Not damaging it, it just knocks it off the...
I would like, as part of a reaction and also kind of curiosity, I want Hatsu to try from further away, so he's kind of 150 yards away, and while they're shooting and all of this is going on, he tries to shoot an arrow in between them so it passes both of them to kind of...
Okay. To do that, what I'll say is, because his was 18 and mine was 21, you have to get between 18 and 21. I'll allow 18 and 21 as well, but that's your range. That's what you're looking for if you want to get it perfectly through the two arrows.
I've never wanted a nat one so much in my life.
I can't wait for
Just shoot Dash in the
I
ass.
suddenly wish I was a monk.
Just catch the arrow.
Go.
Yeah.
Come on, Atsu.
21.
21, I'll allow it. Yeah, no, I said if it lands on 18 or 21, I'll allow it as well. It goes straight through. So, like, what happens is her arrow, your arrow is going, Dash, and you look back across as hers is going straight towards yours, and just before it touches, another arrow goes straight between the two. Then hers hits off yours and bounces off towards the, thing.
Damn, Hatsu. That's impressive. Okay, one sec. I need to try from back there, and I just gotta run back to Hatsu.
I was always looking for a situation to try this. I'm new to this, so I'm sorry if I
I'm new
make
to
you look
this.
bad.
No, that was
Precision
fantastic.
shot, man. I'm new to
the
this.
first time.
Yeah, beginner's luck.
Hatsu, are you familiar with cloud shot?
What is a cloud shot?
Probably best to demonstrate. If I haven't done this in a while, so let's see. And Dash kind of turns his bow, but he aims up, so he's aiming to shoot it up and
Wow.
down on top of the cup. Well, that ain't shit. That's an 8.
Oh,
So,
a cloud shot is when you
Yeah.
shoot the arrow and you can't find it anymore afterwards.
It doesn't
Well,
even
I've
go that
lost-
high.
I've
His
lost
goes,
that one,
his
but-
goes a little bit up and turns around and lands right behind him, and he doesn't see where it went because it was so quick. He's just like, wow, I really sent that off into the sky somewhere, and it's like right behind him.
Fuck. Well, you get the idea, but judging by
Okay,
your
what,
talent there, I
what
think you'd be
Hats-
good at this.
what Hatsu is doing, he aims towards the sky with the intent that the arrow comes back at him. She basically
Okay.
wants to hit himself.
Hatsu? Hatsu?
It's a 9.
It doesn't go that high either.
Yeah,
arrow
but when
just goes
it
up and
comes-
like comes straight back down towards Dash.
When it comes down, he wants to catch it.
Okay. Yeah,
That
you can.
makes
I'll let you do that
sense.
because you're not that far from him, and it's just part of your natural ability, right? I don't know if you have to roll
just-
for that.
Jumping out the way.
Yeah,
I'll
so-
double up on a second. I just need to remember what that ability does for you. 1 second. It's in your features, right?
So yeah, it's the second. So I would have to roll damage for that, I think.
Can you do that on another person though?
No, on myself.
Oh, you're shooting at it yourself. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Hatsu, you also what I'll say is I'll allow this for this time because actually this kind of just worked well because he just did the
Yeah.
dexterity saving throw. So you do it, it's a low roll, and then it starts to go towards Dash instead of what you were trying to do, which was yourself. And it was just because your fingers are cold, it slipped, you're not used to the bow, it's a new thing, as you actually just pointed out anyway. And so as the arrow's coming out towards Dash, he goes to move out of the way, and as he does, you just catch the arrow. I'm going to use his dexterity saving throw for your ability. Won't always work that way, especially in combat, but for rule of cool for the moment, I wanted to just play it that way. It's nice.
Okay, so we need some practice with this, but very good for shooting over cover. That was fun.
I don't see any use for it, but
Well,
We
if you
worked it
imagine
out.
if there's a wall between you and your opponent, and they're, on the other side of it, if you don't have a straight line of shot towards them, if you get the right angle, you can get it over the cover and down on top of them.
I think I would just climb a tree, to be honest.
Well, that's an option too, but it's still fun to learn new abilities.
Hmm.
Good shooting. Well done to you as well, Orla. That was fun.
Eos gets up, she goes over to where the little cup is, looking at it with arrows piercing through. She holds it for a while and she...
To be fair, I did clarify that it just knocked the cup off the bench. It didn't, because like it bounced off Dash's arrow. I don't think it would have had the force to then split the cup, so...
No, that's okay. She's going to actually hold a firebolt in with her hand. She's going to like trying to weld up the hole that it's
Oh,
caused
nice.
to repair it.
It's like a pseudo mending. Yeah, okay. Sure. It doesn't do it cleanly as like mending would.
No.
But yeah, you can like just solder it closed. Sure.
Yeah, because it's part of the firebolt description itself. A flammable object starts burning if it isn't being worked hard. You can modify that.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, that's fine. You can see that the quality of arrow is very different between, for example, Dash's. Like Dash, you have pretty much store-bought arrows, normal default ones. Hatsu, you have like homemade ones, but they're pristine and beautiful. Her arrows are much more sharp. So like, you guys have arrows that are kind of, I will call them universal tools, but it's not what I quite mean. I just mean that they're like a bit more everyday arrows because Hatsu made his own and Dash, yours is store-bought. Hers are like sharp as shit. Like if you were to use that as a knife, it would do damage. Like these are really, really like focused arrows. And I would say, Hatsu, what you would take from that, because I'm going to say that you guys are retrieving arrows or whatever, so you don't have to mark them off, or you can give yourself back an arrow. But what I would say here from that, or what you see from that, is that hers may also be used as tools to pierce stone, potentially for climbing or something similar. She might be able to make herself a path and move up, that kind of thing. That would be more where Hatsu in his past experience would see something similar to this kind of level of sharpness from a tool like this.
Beautiful arrows, Orla.
Thank you. The blacksmith in town is quite good.
Good to know.
And I amend that and just say the smith in town because I don't remember if it's a blacksmith or not. Yeah.
As we're getting closer to these peaks now, as you said was where the last place it was spotted, I want to start looking for tracks or, telltale signs of something like that walking through here or bustling through, anything like that.
There's not much in the way of tracks here besides what you guys have just made, but there are, because the way the snow would be here, you'd have to have been here within hours of somebody moving through here.
Right.
But there are signs that people have been here before, like there are like bits of cloth stuck to trees and stuff like that may have been old campsites and stuff, things like that. It's not unusual because this is a normal hunting ground to come to. As I said, there's a frozen lake here. There's a small river that runs through the town that they keep defrosted so they can get fish and stuff. But this sort of lake would be another system like that where you can get other types of fish that are below the ice. You would have to pierce the ice to do it, but like where you're going and what she was talking about earlier, like there is like water sources around that have been frozen over time, but things do survive beneath that water. So
there's no like no trees with like scarred like handprints, like burnt handprints or anything into them.
Nothing like that. No, nothing like that.
Where are we heading to from here then?
Well, if we're done with our games, we can head on. It's about 15 minutes this way. Just over the ridges. We will head towards the lake. And we will investigate the open fields. See if we can find anything from where the bodies were before.
How many bodies has it... Oh, how many people has it killed?
There's a lot of researchers that haven't returned. But in terms of normal people, like civilians, I would guess 8, 9 in the last year or so.
To this creature?
Seems like it.
Is she luring us out here? Is this all a load of bullshit?
See if she's lying if you want, but like...
May I assist?
Sure, yeah, you can both assist. Both assist, you can both do it if you want to, or one or the other doesn't.
Separate, yeah.
14 for me.
8 for me.
Okay. Madriana, it's really hard to tell anything. She has a very deadpan face, so it's quite difficult to get that from her. In my head, she has that kind of, like, I really like, you ever seen interviews with like Rebecca Ferguson and stuff where it's kind of hard to tell where she is with her like kind of personality? Like she sounds abrasive, but she's actually really funny or whatever, that kind of thing. I would go almost to that where it's like her facial expression doesn't represent necessarily what she's saying or how she's talking. It's her words that carry a lot of weight, and in her words, you're not finding anything. Dash, she's selecting her words carefully. So it's not necessarily that she's lying, but maybe omitting stuff. Make sense? Like an artist picks where to paint goes with the brush, where their strokes are. She is weaving her sentences like an artist or like somebody who has to.
Or that you pick your words as if you're trying to hide something.
As do you. Aren't we all?
Well, currently the only thing that I had considered hiding is here in the open, gesturing to the party as a whole. So all my cards are on the table, so to speak. What are you not telling us?
I believe that this creature may have something to do with the explosions that happened, because it appeared not long after that, in my opinion. I think it has been intentionally picking people off, and I think it wants people to hunt it. If you look for a bear, you can usually find it by the nest that it leaves and the places that it chooses, and you know that it has territory. This creature marks no territory. It is choosing people from Dagtop, and that makes me think it has sentience. Much like the creature you keep with you. Only far more malicious.
Dash kind of clenches his jaw a bit at that reference, but is kind of choosing to let it go for the moment.
Eos says, look around and see what creature she's talking about.
To be fair to Orla, in a sense, that is a far more tame thing than she would have said 12 hours ago.
Correct.
So like there is something in it that she's showing restraint for you, but it's also doesn't mean she likes the situation. It just she could have been far more direct. She wasn't.
So is it
Let's
targeting
say it's like a
researchers?
German granny when she accidentally kicks out some phrases she learned as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. I'm not the one who said it, but I'll take it.
So it's targeting researchers, I presume?
Researchers and civvies. The civvies are the ones she cares about. Researchers, they take their lives in their own hands. They can go wherever they want, do whatever they want, but they know the risks when they do. But like with Orla, now she cares about the people of the town. And it's clear from everything she has said since you met her that she cares about the people of the town. Yeah. Like that is her prerogative and that's her priority. And that's never been different. She only hunts big things like this because they're a risk to the town. She has a record of killing 2 things previously that were killing people in the town. Now she's doing it again a 3rd time, but this is just much more intimidating. Otherwise she wouldn't have brought you in the first place.
Yeah. It appeared around the time of the explosion. Do you think the explosions awakened this, or created it, or it caused the explosions?
The explosions were a long time ago, but since then this is the 3rd emergence of something strange and lava-focused. Fire creatures. I think that they are coming in order of strength, and I worry about what will follow it when I behead this fucking thing.
Do you think, Orla, are the researchers hiding something? Are they making something that's resulting in these creatures?
I don't think they would risk their own home, but I had that thought before. Why would you make these creatures and then release them on your own people? It wouldn't make any sense. If anything, they would release them in Broadedeer. We don't get on with them so well. Snobs.
Why not? Oh, it's not.
If you release it into a populace that don't really have the means to tell everyone else, it's a good testing ground.
We have
you
encountered someone
ever
who does.
thought about why there are religious sites inside the volcano?
Religious sites?
There must be a reason. Oh yes.
I don't know, there's all sorts of freaks out there.
Yeah, there's big old shrines under the mountains.
Why?
No idea. It looks rigged to
We have a chapel.
collapse of it.
These wouldn't be to good deities.
Depends on the perspective, but
True.
history may suggest groups who follow certain religions may have had to hide from hunters, crusaders. Where else can they pray but within the confines of a sweet, beautiful, safe cave?
That creature must clearly have something against certain creatures, because other creatures weren't affected, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The people that it's taken, were they anything to do with the research center or anything to do with the scientists?
As in the civilians or the researchers?
Well, you said the researchers were killed, but then you said there was a few civilians. Were the civilians
Just local
related to
hunters.
helping?
Like myself. They're just people who venture out to get food or supplies or leather or,
So they could have been just wrong place, wrong time kind of thing.
That's what it feels like. If there's a connection, I do not know it.
Did the civilians have anything in common?
Just that they hunt.
Do you think it's possible this creature potentially has a family that it's protecting?
Well then, Good. More to kill. Give the bodies to the crisis response unit and some gold for the town. Great.
Your love for your town is clear.
Hmm.
I'll give you that much.
Io sees and understands why she does what she does. It is clear to her.
Eos is logical and rational, so makes sense.
CRU. Now I'm convinced they did experiments.
What
Of course they did. Guarantee they're carrying out some shady shit out of the
Creatures
prison
raising
too.
unit.
But they are responsible. They have to kill it. Why would they bother?
Killing doesn't start with C. God damn it.
Don't think they have to kill it.
There's many different theories that killing is just a way to be able to get to the source of what makes them easier. You said yourself that these other things you fought seem to be abominations. Not just monsters like we, but actual abominations. Usually that kind of thing doesn't tend to happen naturally. It tends to be manufactured.
By what?
We've already encountered someone who does it.
Member of the CRU, funny enough.
You familiar with Amelia Harrow?
Should I be?
You're lucky you're not. She is as evil as they come. Is that right, Slate?
And yet one of CRU's brightest and best.
Okay.
The
She's not
civilians
that bright. She fell for my charms.
the civilians that died, were all the bodies just left as bones? Like, how do you confirm that they are the people from the village, if all there was bones?
Just light supplies around them, campsites, backpacks, things like that. Anything we could use to identify them? Clothes? We have a great dentist. Dental records, of course. I'm just kidding. Just clothes and stuff, yeah.
Dental plan.
And
Decent, he's braces.
each time there was a gap between each person that went missing and was then found, and then each time there was a creature found thereafter, some of which you killed, then there would be another death, then another creature, and so on and so on and so on.
If I was to track it out like a map, this thing is moving from north to south. And it's hard to sort of figure out a timeline. We know where it has been. But we know not where it's going, why it's taking so long. If this is just some defense, if this is what this is, we don't know.
You're implying, Slate, you think that bodies may be taken and transformed?
I mean, we've seen one thing be turned into another. So for someone to vanish and then a creature to be found, it's possible that the creature and the person are the same.
Who was the last civilian to supposedly go missing or die, get burnt to a crisp?
A few months ago, it was a hunter. It's not local to us, but it was somebody who was passing through. They saw that we were low on supplies and they offered. We accepted, we warned them, and it was about 2 days later they were discovered.
Do you know
Yes.
name?
Not off the top of my head, but if you ask in the local town hall, they would be able to tell you.
They went by themselves? Were
Most
they
hunters
brave
do.
or stupid? I mean, if you
Okay,
described this thing as you have to us like this.
Not everybody tracks
way.
in packs of 7 or 8. But
He was just staring at
they were
Dash
hunting
because this
for like deer. They weren't hunting for
Oh,
other creature.
okay.
Has there ever
yes.
been a witness to any of these?
I'll come back to that in 1 second. Eos, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you there. Sorry.
I don't know. She's just staring at Dash because this sounds an awful lot like the deal Dash made with this girl.
Yes, you're
Cool.
staring at me.
Low on supplies. Oh, we'll help you fight the creature. Hmm.
Yes, but I have you guys, and you're all extremely powerful.
Oh, say that to my ankles.
Slate, you asked. Sorry, has there ever been witnesses?
Has anybody ever witnessed, like, bodies have been
Yeah.
found, monsters have been seen, but has a murder ever been witnessed, the monster doing the act?
Yes. Not the murders, but they have witnessed some sort of fire creature out in the near this ridge, which is partially why we're here, and that it looks. When you light a torch and you see the flicker of the flame, the light on the ground, it emanates like this. It has its own source of light from itself, which is why I think it's better to hunt it at night. How they escaped, I don't know. Why they escaped without killing it, I don't know either.
I'm just confirming, because you found a body that looked like it was killed by fire, and then you found a creature that has fire, it was definitely them. Like if somebody was shot with an arrow, you walk into a town and find an archer, it was clearly them.
There aren't too many people leaving hand marks burnt into the skeletons of the remains. It's rare to see a creature encased in fire, and by rare I mean it's never been seen. So I'll go with that it's likely this creature. A bow and arrow is a common weapon. A dagger is a common weapon. These things need further investigation. But when the fire claw fits,
Can I ask, using the snow, for her to draw the shape of the hand, because we haven't seen a tree or the claw or whatever, to an approximate of what it should look like? Just for my
Yeah.
own mental note more than anything.
I'm not sure if Richard was there, so it might be something that one of you needs to recap a little bit, but this would be something that Slate would know. So if one of you wants
We
to
have seen these marks in the volcano, you remember?
Mhm.
But he says it like a little side so that the lady wouldn't catch up on it, if that makes sense. So he wants to keep a little behind with that. He goes more like, we haven't seen them in the volcano, you remember? It was all over the dead bodies, the hundreds of bodies that we found there. Just don't tell her. Just don't.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm asking for her to draw, to confirm that it's the same symbol, the same claw, and not, we think
Okay,
it's a X
so-
shape and it's a Y shape, you know what I mean? And then we're like, oh, there's two different things. Yeah.
she
it's
lays out the
more or less
symbol
what
of
I
what
want.
looks like a hand, but it would be
Yeah.
a pretty close approximation. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. That's all I was looking for, literally. Rather than giving her the answer in the question, I wanted her to give it to me.
No
having
worries.
the-
Yeah, she does draw it anyway and does it for you anyway. Sorry, I thought you didn't remember the thing before. I wasn't sure if you were there or not, so I don't remember when
No,
that
no,
was.
it's
So.
perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys are ready to move on, she'll take you further in towards the place, and discussion can always continue while you're walking. You pack up your different cups, one damaged and melted a little bit, and put out the little campfire you used, pack up the teapot, that kind of thing. You head in. Go good. Sorry.
As you want to hunt this during the night, as you said, it'd be easier. Would it be advisable for us to take our rest early and hunt through the evening?
I would like to use the light to investigate the area, and then I would suggest we leave the area, set up a little camp, and then somewhere late in the night we just see what we can see, I suppose.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so she leads you up towards, there's a section of just like a large flat plain. It's on this sort of ridge, and then further on is this sort of like ice lake that's way further down. You're now in the area of what has been seen, or what has been reported of to have been where it was seen and where the last body showed up. The first thing you find, and it's not even hard to find because it's basically exactly where she was sort of heading. It takes a little bit of research for you guys to look around and find some stuff, but deep within the snow, any one of you could have kicked it. I'm going to say Dash because it would be funnier to me if it's just Dash aimlessly wandering through the snow and finds it. But when you move the snow, you dislodge what is red colored snow, so there's blood here. Deep within the snow are tracks that lead kind of, they lead in a sort of west, north, or east, northeast sort of direction.
Fresh blood?
Not fresh, but frozen into the snow, and there's fresh snow over it, so it has to have been at some point within the last while, but snow also keeps things contained, so blood as well. This blood, it's harder to tell the age because it's cold. It doesn't look as, it doesn't coagulate and do things the way it normally would when blood is spilled, so thank you, Dexter, for that word. Yeah.
Guys, I found some blood.
It's like on your boot, but it's also in the snow.
Hasn't coagulated as much as I expected it to.
Is it high in iron? Try licking it.
Well, it'll just taste like snow and metal, won't it?
That's how you know it's high in iron.
Yeah.
While this conversation is going on,
Could have
I'd like
STDs for all I know. No.
to investigate the area to try and determine the quantity of blood, and anything that I could decipher from it, as in somebody was sitting idle, somebody was crawling around, an animal was slaughtered. There's various different things, spray patterns, quantities, all sorts. Like an archaeologist slowly moving small
That's
bits of,
literally what I was
snow
saying, yeah.
just to get underneath. Yeah,
As
yeah,
you
very
do that,
carefully,
you're
very
moving
slowly.
around them while they're having this conversation. Lissa's like, what if it's just cranberry sauce? You don't know until you try it.
But what if it's like, if it has rabies? I'm not going to lick rabies.
Well, who's going to eat something with rabies? Why would it be rabies blood?
Well, it doesn't know until it eats it, but I know enough to not try it.
I think we're all familiar enough with the sight and smell of blood to know that it's blood.
He would
Except
be,
maybe
though.
you, Dash.
Not blood and snow.
There might be a reason why everybody's trying to make Dash lick this then.
Stares at
Adriana was totally just trolling.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
What did you say there, Yes? Sorry.
He wouldn't be familiar, like, as we found out at the time of the beheading in the dorm room. That was the first time he ever saw blood.
It was the first time I saw someone killed, not blood. I've seen fairly grievous injuries, but never someone beheaded like that.
Yes, very good, tough man. Could you just stop moving around? You're disrupting the crime scene.
Lissa, usually you are the crime scene.
Yes, which is why I know what to do.
Well, if he's not like you,
Fair point, well made.
Io takes out her dagger and she uses the flat-sided dagger just.
Yes.
Tastes like cherries. No, it definitely tastes like car keys, or whatever. Some pennies.
Copper.
But it would be a really good slushy for a vampire. So, I mean,
Oh, really? Dash types into it.
Never eat
we've
red
outed
snow.
his character. This is why he sparkles all the time.
That's why he didn't want to lick it. He didn't want to give away the game.
The teeth would have just retracted.
No Dashra
Dash for R2. Love it.
God damn it. Slate, at this point you've uncovered what appears to be a massive pooling of where the blood would have been. So the body would have remained there on the ground for a while, and then what looks like drag marks of blood that lead off into the direction. So as you uncover more, the blood gets thinner and thinner as it goes further. It had stopped bleeding at that point, but when you do go through, that's you're seeing that someone was killed here. But what's interesting is that the snow has hardened points below it as you get to the edges of the blood. but in the central point, it's got a hardened almost basin underneath. So like something has like made it much harder here than in other areas of the snow. It's like a form of ice. Yeah.
Almost like polished or something like that.
Something like that.
Hmm. Obviously, I pass on the information, point it out to the guys, show them what I can see and what I've learned. The body that was there, does it look like it was lifted and carried or dragged? So, for example, we learned that there was a fresh layer of snow above this, and when Dash kicked that, we found that there was loose stuff underneath, whereas other areas would have been harder and thicker, whereas this was disturbed because this had all happened and then light layer had gone on top. By slowly moving away the light layer of snow, if I did that all the way around, would I find a particular path to know that it left in that direction following the little blood? And then would I continue to find, oh, it looks like a body was dragged through here because that light continues, if you know what I mean, with a new layer on top as we go. In other words, is it possible to very slowly, but track it by moving bits of snow and trying to, follow the general direction?
At some point, Richard, you and me need to sit down and talk about whatever you've done in life, because you always seem to have like a real insight into how to do these things.
Do you really want to open that can of worms?
I do.
As your
They
legal
made a
representative-
series. It's called How to Get Away with Murder.
As your legal representative, I remind you to say nothing, Richard.
I'll get you Thaddeus Grimstone. Don't worry, he's available. Yeah. So I mean, okay, there's a lot there. So this was definitely dragged.
Want me to roll for it to help you decide how much you want to give me?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely dragged. I will get a roll from you though. Yeah, so it'll be investigation. But what you do already know, because it's clear, it's obvious, there's no other answer for it. The body was definitely dragged, and dragged with sort of like a weight to it, like like it's not necessarily from the drag marks, but from where the blood and the way the blood is spread out, and as it stops like going when the blood runs out, or stops bleeding for whatever reason. But yeah, like it is clear that it was dragged. It wasn't picked up. It wasn't walked away. The pool isn't just there and then there's nothing else. There's a clear line of blood. You got an 11. Can you remind me the rest of your question? Sorry, I rambled my way into forgetting.
Yeah, I was basically just trying to figure out if we could find a way to track or follow, to try and get more additional information about how it was moved, in what direction, things like the depth and so on. So, like you said, what you've given me is more a broad general direction, and
east, northeast going. If you're looking at the lake, it was around the left side of the lake. They didn't want to cross it. They wanted to go around the lake. So they're heading in that direction. It's almost a direct arrow to going around the lake on the left side.
Yeah, and like you said, it was something, seemed like it was moved, pushed, dragged, whatever, with force against the ground, because it's, it was, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was definitely dragged though, and it was dragged by something that wasn't struggling. It's not like start, stop, drag. It's a very clean line of drag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, I guess continue to follow it and continue moving the snow and trying to follow as best I can in the general direction, having it be as dug down and as dramatic as you say, even with a bad roll. I presume that's somewhat doable, at least to a point.
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, not as dramatic as like a bobsled run or whatever, but it has that same vibe to it, where it's like compacted ice rather than whatever. And I'm gonna get you to make another investigation check for me. I'm gonna give you advantage because of what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish here. You have a clear determination with it.
18.
What's really weird is that as you're exploring this kind of basin of ice that had been it had been pressed under fresh levels of snow, it was basically buried, you're unearthing it, but what you find that's most peculiar is there are occasionally embedded in the ice what looks to be like a footprint. But it's not a typical footprint. It's not something of like you know, you get out of the shower, you see your footprints, you know the shape of a footprint. This is far thinner, bonier, gaunt, more skeletal.
So when you say thinner makes sense, gaunt's like, you know, thin, long, whatever. When you say more skeletal, like if you assume a normal foot has skin, so it's spread out, and then where the toes are, it's more where it breaks. This has breaks all the way through, if you know what I mean, that there's imprints all the way through. Okay, yeah.
There's breaks all the way through as if there was no skin to protect it from making that kind of mark.
Yeah.
As you follow it, it starts to fade out more and more, and you'll reach sort of the left side of the entrance. Like the lake, you can go around from both sides. It's rather large, but on the left side, there seems to be a sudden stop to it, and then again, like when the body was found, there's a big kind of basin of ice there.
And the basin of ice, is there anything, like, when you say a basin of ice, what kind of size, depth?
Around, like in a circle, I would say it's about 10 foot-ish. And then in the middle of it is kind of markings that are quite unusual. You see the feet marks and stuff like that, but you see other sort of markings as well. Yeah.
So obviously I'd call everybody over and say, what do you make of this?
It's definitely not natural, is it? What do you think? Worth investigating properly?
I mean, there's something to it. At first I thought it might have been some kind of like a creature's underbelly or tail or something, that we were following a big drag mark, and then I was thinking this might be where it stopped and rested, and then, you know, the weight compacted and the heat and so on. But with the extra markings, I don't know what they are, so I'm not sure.
Can I check them out?
Sure.
DM?
Yeah, make an investigation check here for this.
I'd like to assist.
So you can either both do one or one with advantage.
I'm going to let him, that's why I said assist specifically.
No worries.
Please.
Would that be a 18?
18 as well, nice. There's a weird moment of, like, what the hell is this? Like, there's two clear footprints here, skeletal as they are, which to you guys is unusual anyway. Like, I don't think you guys have an autopsy class, so I'm guessing you don't see too much of this.
Probably should get one of those glasses.
But at the moment, there is something weird about it. But sitting up on the edge of this is Lissa with her knees up, because she's just so tired. She's just leaning her head on her knees. And you look at the way Lissa's sitting, and you look down at the markings. Footprints, two distinct marking shapes behind it. Something probably sat here.
Ah, that's an ass print.
Dash, ever the linguist.
It can be.
He only noticed it because of the crack.
No, I noticed
There's a crack in the ice.
Well, if something was able to make such an impressive ass, what did you call it?
Ass print.
An ass print? Yeah. No, another time. It's definitely of a larger scale than I imagined.
But
You should squat more.
skeletal feet, chunky cheeks. Is it a giant owl?
Wait, is your brother here?
Is Boreal here?
I don't know what you guys talking about.
Okay.
Does Boreal have big ass cheeks?
Damn it.
Really? You
This is
also
wild.
looking for the ass of my brother?
Oh my god.
Hope
The elf
nobody's
is
gonna look for
dying.
your ass soon.
She is just like a scarf up, trying to keep it together.
Just in case you're unaware, Dash, I'm pretty sure he's underage, so be careful there.
You hear under her arms from Lissa, Dash, stop fucking talking.
Why are you tired?
Oh, you're just digging a greater hole than this one.
Yep.
I guess the real interesting question is, what happened here then? That's not a usual position to rest, at least in these areas, I guess.
Could keep you warm. I mean, Lissa seems fairly comfortable. She's in a similar position.
I saw people kneeling down like that before they get beheaded.
One way or another, we've learned more than we did. I mean, we're closer to finding it because we have tracks. You know, we've found blood, but, you know, skeletal feet, ass cheeks. I mean, we talked about sentience earlier. Something that sits like that is more likely to be sentient because most beasts don't sit like that. So that's also a potential. Might be way off, but potential.
As this is still like this was under the snow a bit, right? That's how you found it, was you digging
He
out
had
and
to
stuff.
uncover it, yeah.
Yeah. While we're standing there for a second, I'm gonna get Albie, because Albie's been soaring above us most of the time anyway. But I'm gonna just kind of go into like looking through Albie's eyes. I want to scout like on the path we've been heading, but further ahead to see if so like say it sat here and rested and a layer of like say a foot of snow landed on top of it. If he rested another, I don't know, 500 yards away from us, like, or you know, a mile further than us, it might not be quite so under the snow. I want to see if I can find like a pattern of, okay, this is exactly where it's going.
So, like, if you continue to follow these tracks?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or like even maybe catch up with it to the point where we see where it's maybe rested an hour ago rather than like 12 hours ago or whatever, that kind of thing.
What you're suggesting is the bird is seeing the more recent version, so they'd be less covered by snow, easier to see from the air. And if
Exactly.
it's making these big things to rest, if it's big and clunky and heavy, it has to rest. If it rests often, then the further the bird flies, the easier they should be able to see the closer it gets to it, because it happened more recently and there's been less snowfall on top of it.
Exactly that. That was much better put than how I said it.
Not only am I going to allow it, because it's, I mean, why wouldn't I, but I'm going to give you inspiration for it, because it's a very creative way of looking at this, and the explanation for both of you is pretty good, so I'm going to add it to Richard as well. You can both have inspiration. I really like that.
Got to start using my inspiration so I can fill it back up.
I cannot stress this enough. Please use your inspirations, even if it's just for meaningless shit, because I like giving you guys inspiration and it feels bad when I can't. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, go ahead. You can have advantage on this check with Albie. And you can take a look, unless you're doing it yourself, of course, but from what I understood, you were using
It's
Albie.
through Albie, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, roll well, for fuck's sake. That's not bad. Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Okay. What's weird is that you're not finding anything. Like, Albie's really looking. Albie knows what to look for. So why are you not finding any tracks beyond this circle? At this point, I'll say that you guys have uncovered the full length of the circle. And I'm going to add to this, even though it was technically Albie's role, I'm going to just add a little bit of information to this. Going further on the east-northeast path, out of this circle, there's one pressed in what looks like the front part of the foot, like the ball of the foot, from again a skeletal shape, and there's one lightly pressed in, then like much lighter than the first one, and then there's nothing. That'll leave this hole basically, continuing in that direction.
So like he flew?
Certainly like he got lighter or something changed, yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, we're all fucked now, that's for sure. I relay that information. I'm going to relay it kind of directly to Slate first. Like, keeping an eye on our friend with us.
Orla, yeah.
And I'm going to look at Adriana and then very slowly start to take a step back and gently scan the horizon, things like trees, cliffs, anything above us, to be like, oh, this thing could be like right beside us or in that tree over there, or anything that's above, because we were all looking down. So now I'm just being like, oh, we might have this very wrong, but not raising attention to, if something was there, I'd be like, oh, look, so it jumps at me. It's more kind of like pretending I'm not looking, but obvious to Adriana that's exactly what I'm doing. So she does the same. So we're both kind of looking past each other and looking in each other's blind spots.
Yeah, you can both roll, or one of you can roll with advantage, up to you. But you're looking for the Rise of the Phoenix. I get what you're saying.
I think we both roll if we're looking over each other's shoulders, because we're looking in each other's blind spots. So
I usually leave it up to you guys, but I like that when you guys are doing two separate checks. I like that. It's one each. Yeah.
It's a 23 for Adriana.
God damn.
And a 20, dirty 20.
Well, there's a confidence in the knowledge that you don't see anything. You look straight up, you spread out, looking around, kind of what would be almost this invisible dome around you of anything you can see upwards and around you, right? Anywhere as far as you can see. But there's nothing that stands out. But keep in mind, the sun hasn't set, so even if there was something, it's not going to be the easiest to see with the sun still powering down on you guys.
Then lastly, to add that after we're confident that there's nothing immediately upon us, maintaining our sight lines, if you were to look knowing that something left the ground in this area, is there anything that would draw your eye? So for example, oh, all of a sudden this backdrop is in the background, or that mountain or that cave, or anything where you would go, oh, that's the obvious thing that they could be heading towards, something that would stand out as a potential place for something big that flies.
And to add to that, is there, like, if we've got some trees around us, which I know we've had in periods as we
travel,
travel,
a few trees. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Again, it's there's a clear void of trees, and the ones that are here are mostly dead. Yeah.
So we've been, as Slate said, we've been looking at the floor. So now with that knowledge as well, is there any treetops that might have a broken treetop, or there's a branch that snapped, or something that would indicate it pushed through the tree? So just to add to prominent like places around us it could be heading to.
So I'll go with one investigation check from each of you, but I'm going to give you different information based on your rolls. So you're looking for two different things here, so it's just two checks.
Oof, no. That's a nat 1.
Oh.
That was almost a nat 1. That's an 8.
So nat 1 for 6 and an 8. Okay. So there's nothing of obvious nature that they would be going to that you can see. There's no clear cave entrance or like a super dark necromantic castle just placed there or something. There's nothing that stands out. And Adriana, you're uncovering stuff from the tree and you start to brush things off. And you notice that you're not brushing snow anymore. You're brushing this kind of ash, this darkened kind of like ashy substance off your hand. It's like the tree was burned. And as you do, it's not coming off your hands. You're just rubbing it in because it's not one, of course. So you're just making a mess all over your gloves and everything. And it's like the least stealthy thing possible. Anything you touch now, you're gonna leave marks. So you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the lake. You head over to the frozen lake. You put your hands down and just start using some of the ice. You use the heat of your hands to just clean it. And as you do, you look in to find a charred skeleton beneath the surface.
Slate, bring your tools, will you? Hola, you may want to come and have a look at this.
She comes over and she looks down and she says, well, you are quite the tracker then. Well done.
I could be gracious and accept the compliment, but honestly, it was by accident this time. As long as we know, though.
She looks down into the ice. It's probably about like 5 or 6 feet down. It's encased in what looks like a fresh coat of ice. Like ice that's there for a long time is foggy and whatever. This is more clear. Doesn't mean it was today or yesterday, but it was certainly within the last while. Like a week or so, I'd probably put it in. Like it's somewhere in that bracket.
Is it the same ice bracket as the arse print?
I mean, this ice is more frozen water. So, but that would mean that this is refrozen water. Like, it's more clear. You can see the connection point where it like kind of becomes foggier. It becomes foggier as far as it is.
Yeah, more recent, yeah.
Should we, is it worth digging it out, or... Actually, yes, my dear. You seem to be quite adapted to controlling some certain elements. Are you able to melt this away to pull out this body?
I can certainly try. How big is the area that needs to be melted?
I mean, it's a body, so like the body is, I don't know, 5'5", but like you would need to get enough radius to be able to get in, and also the more you melt, I mean, the water is going to be a factor here. Like when Eos begins, let me put it this way. She melts the ice, but it turns into a body of water. It doesn't just clear the space. So like her heat is temporarily making this liquid.
Seeing this happen, I'm gonna gesture to Eos to stop for a second. I want to get the pittons, the metal spikes that are in my bag, and I want to tie rope around the top of them, and I want to use the hammer to drive them in, and then with the rope to pull it out. Do that 3 or 4 times, then she starts to melt and try and lift it out in blocks. So we're cracking down, and then she can put the heat into that where the pitton was, and then I'm hoping that it cracks outwards all the way around, like creating a square, and continue. So instead of melting the whole block, you're just melting the connection points, and you're using the force of the pitton going down each time to crack and push to divide the ice, and then so they're not stuck together completely. The friction is created by the heat, and the liquid actually helps to slide the ice up.
Is this really worth the effort? What
I guess we'll find out with one of these blocks how hard it is to move one block, and then ascertain if it's 10 blocks down, 1 block down, and then decide, yeah, this is worth it, or no, it's not.
We've seen this 100 times over already. Will we actually get anything?
Well, the difference might be that if Slate's potential theory is right, if this body's been here or if this body's been burnt for a year, 2 years, then it's not one of the hunters that's gone missing, but instead it's just been a decoy for what could be the hunters being taken away.
So you want to like leave it out as bait?
No. Well, I don't know what Slate wants to do with it, but I want to see if it's
Also,
a fresh corpse, shall we say.
we actually care about our people. We're not like Palparothians who just toss them to the side once they die. We would like to give it a proper burial.
You really love your generalizations out here.
I mean, you behave this way, what is it supposed to look like?
Well, we're looking for something, and I'm wary of drawing attention to us, so I'd rather not add to the body count right now.
It's fine. You can all stop. I'll come and get the body myself once this is done. I will bring it back and bury it where it deserves to be buried.
Are you sure?
She turns around in the snow and she moves, but there was a moment of like hesitation because it was Eos asking, but the question also has like a heavy impact. There's conflict within her for that. Yeah.
The theory we were trying with the block of ice and what we were doing while that conversation was happening, how much effort was it to do one block?
It took... If Eos was using a cantrip, which I believe she is, Firebolt, right, is what you're using for this?
Yeah, I was considering using another one, but Firebolt is... Yeah.
I would say...
Because that's the pit and stake hole. When you take the pit out, the firebolt goes into that hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the force
say-
already cracks and shatters. That's the idea, anyway.
Yeah, I would say there's probably 3 to 4 actions because you're helping. It would have been significantly longer if she was constantly firebolting this thing because you're melting the ice, but you need a constant flame. It's like a whole thing. So yeah, like it takes a few, like it would take about a minute, let's just say, like to just, when you're putting the pittons in, you're tying the ropes, you're like, you're melting the ice, doing that whole sequence takes about a minute per block of what you're doing. Yeah.
So if it takes about a minute to get a block out, and a block is approximate, because none of them would be the same because they'd shatter differently, but approximate size, what's a block?
I would say a foot.
And then because the ice is clear, as you've explained to us, so we can see the body, obviously depth perception might be slightly off, but in approximates, does it look like it's 20 feet down, 2 feet down, 10 feet down? Do you know what I mean? At an
The body's
approximate
about
gauge.
6 to 7 foot down, so this would take the guts of 10 minutes for you guys to get everything done all in all here. Like, yeah.
So I'm gonna turn to everybody else and say, I don't know what you guys think we can accomplish in 10 minutes, but retrieving one of their own to get to for burial in the sake of 10 minutes, for me, I think it's worth it. And if we learn something else, it's definitely worth it. But even just to retrieve the body, it's worth it for 10 minutes. I'm just going to continue putting pittons in and let everyone make their own decisions what they want to do. And
Is there a lot of noise being generated during this?
It's not quiet, but it's not like a constant barrage of anything either. It's more visually attractive because it's firebolts. Like, you can see fire, but it's like, yeah, it's not the worst either. It's definitely something that's like, you would have to have already got clear line of sight on you guys to see it anyway. And this time of day where this is like, and the flat opening expanse that you guys are in, you know, like it is, yeah, like it's hard to say. If something was close enough, yes, but at that point they would have seen you anyway. That's my answer. Yeah.
Oh. All right, I'll keep an eye out while you guys are doing that then. Make sure we don't draw any unwarranted attention.
I'm gonna grab some sticks and stick them onto where we're trying to melt as well, so that as Eos lights the sticks up, that helps to keep the burning process going.
Okay, that makes it a bit quicker as well then. Yeah.
And then okay, I had to think about whether I'd do this or not. In an almost kind of act of defiance against Orla, but also the fact of making a show of, I don't care what you think, Adriana just says to her, step back there a second, will you, dear? I don't want to scare you. And I'll flick out the wings.
Oh shit.
And then I'm going to make sure to be keeping an eye on her reaction, though, when I do that.
Her immediate reaction is to just reach for her bow at first instinct, and then she lets it go and she stops herself. You scared the shit out of her, and her immediate reaction when she's frightened is to use her weapon. That is like an ingrained thing in her. The fact that she let go is also a sign of restraint, so you can choose to interpret it whichever way you prefer.
I interpret it that I scare her, which is fucking awesome, and that she knows that I'm not necessarily a threat this second. And essentially what I want to do, though, is I want to use my wings to fan the flames that's being created between Eos and the wood to try and melt it quicker if I can.
It's a very creative use. I'll say it halves the time for you guys. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah.
Starting to feel outnumbered here, Orla.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize. Never mind.
Hey, they're good people. Honestly, I've gotten nothing like that. I just got my daggers and my bow.
Yeah. I know that feeling. She's going to walk away, even though you guys are doing the body for her. She's not going to go far, but she's going to take a few steps back and just remove herself from this situation. She's like overwhelmed mentally by this process. She doesn't know if she should be here, and she's struggling with what you guys are. Yeah.
Working with the enemy, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that one of the humans is from Palperoth, so.
I'm just gonna go over to listen. Hey, you still got the pouch?
Yeah, of course.
Can I have it back?
No.
Think we could get an ally by giving it back, or maybe she knows I took. Well, actually, knowing you took it is kind of half the idea. What do you think?
Just 1 grain of this could possibly open some of the best vaults in Palperoth. I think we should consider what this can actually do for us in the long term, and not just use it on the corpse of someone who, we didn't know.
Oh no, not for this. I meant
Just give it back?
Yeah.
Yes, let me give back this 50 platinum bag of pure, amazing gold dust that we have here. Are you going to solve?
I was always on the prize. Fair enough, just an idea.
It's a dumb idea, and you should feel bad about it.
Your ass looks good up there. I'll walk away.
She contemplates just throwing the whole bag at you. Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She's a lady, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point you guys manage to get down to the bones, but they're not attached to each other anymore. There's nothing holding them together. It's more or less a pile of bones by the time you get in there, but nonetheless, it is available to you.
We're going to retrieve the bones respectfully, obviously.
Ash just goes in and tosses them behind him out of the hole. Yeah.
And here's the femur.
The hip bone's connected to the
hip bone.
yeah. Brandon, I went to the same place at the same time. I love that. Yeah.
But I also want to try and navigate any items that might be still with this person to try and identify this person. But not just their items, but I want to see if there's any signatures to race, abnormalities, obviously if you saw a Majorana skeleton, there'd be 2 giant bloody wings.
Right. So you're looking for anything that identifies it as something beyond just human.
Exactly.
There's no check needed. It is just human. It is definitely just human. And in terms of anything that's left on it, there isn't too much, but I'll get you to make an investigation check for the final remains of what is there.
Please
Also
don't.
like to assist if I can.
Sure, yeah.
I'm proficient in medicine, so that's kind of where I'm coming at to help with the bones and the placement and all that type of stuff.
Sure.
And again, I'll
Okay.
let Adriana do it because I'm just assisting.
So that's an 18 investigation skill check.
So on 18, the only thing that's really there is an old dagger that's somewhat actually melted, which is, again, the heat you need to melt the metal to make weapons. This is something that Hatsu might even know more about, so someone like that could be brought in. But at first glance, that's fucking unusual. There's nothing encasing it around it anymore like that. Whatever was left is burnt away. But the dagger itself has a small marking on the hilt, and it just says, yeah, I'll give it to you because it was quite a high roll. It just says Hilde. Hilde.
Ah, like Hildebrand.
It's literally a Hildebrand. It's a brand on the dagger.
What kind of metal is it made of?
Steel.
Iron? Steel?
Is there any items on this creature that's unaffected?
No.
Like still as clean as the day that...
No, literally the dagger is all you find, and even that is mostly predominantly worn away. If they
Right,
had a
yeah.
backpack, the likelihood is it was lost long ago, not on the body itself, and any clothes were definitely worn away and gone.
Okay.
But what we'll do, because I'm aware of the time, for a little moment, we're going to take a little break, and we'll come back at that point where you get the body out and you have the dagger in your hand, and you can decide where to go from there. Because we're going to have to just take a little break now. We're running over what we would normally do, and I want to make sure everyone gets their break time and their boss fight time. For those in chat, for watching and listen on Twitch, in a few moments you'll get a request to join a boss battle. Use exclamation point on whatever class you like, and you will be able to partake in the battle and bid some points on it. For those of you watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, we'll see you in just a moment. For those of you watching on Twitch, we'll see you in 10. Perfect. See you shortly.
See you in a minute.
And we are back. Ready for action. We pick up with Amadriana, a warped dagger that is melted in places, and the body removed from the Isaac hole. If you guys are ready, you may proceed.
We're all grown-ups here.
Lies. So, where do you want to bury this poor unfortunate? Ola?
Well, I think it would be best to maybe take it back to town.
I think based on this, and I'll hold out the warped blade, I believe it was a woman. Do you know Hilda?
There's a Hilda in town, but we saw her this morning, so I don't think that this is her. Her husband went missing a while ago.
Ah.
Might be.
Her dagger, his body.
Sometimes 1 + 1 is 2.
Quick math.
Lissa is like, she puts her finger up and then she just doesn't say anything. She's like, never mind. Yeah. Forgetting her name. Orla. She asks, would it be alright if we left it with your sled? Perhaps we can strap the pots on for now and then bring them back with us.
I was just going to suggest the same thing. I was just waiting for an appropriate time to say it.
Ayami helps lift the stuff respectfully, and she puts a cloth that she has in her backpack over it to keep it kind of wrapped and maintained and clean. Well, as clean as it can be. Everyone who is partaking in this and removing the body and all of this, it's the only thing that really stands out to you as strange is that even under the ice, even all that happened, it's incredibly ashen, the bone, to the point where it leaves marks on everything it touches until it's wrapped up. Ayami puts the parts down onto the sled, and with a bit of help from some of you, helps strap it on.
Putting the wings away as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we bedding down here for the evening then?
I would advise that we remove ourselves from this place. Bed down a little further away so we can observe.
Should we clear our tracks as we go then?
I hadn't thought about it, but it makes sense.
I'm gonna slowly and very discreetly work my way around the group and tell them to not just keep their eyes on the ground, but to also keep their eyes above.
I'm gonna backtrack about 150 feet, 200 feet, and then step off the path, and anywhere I can find any kind of a branch, it doesn't matter if it have leaves or not on it, I know some of them are half regrown or whatever, and then just use it to lightly brush away the tracks and walk backwards all the way to the group, so that from the air, new snow is falling and all of that, but it just means that it's not like what we found, big obvious footprints of 7 or 8 people in a row with a sled and so on. So I've brushed it all so it's flatter, clearer, and then the new snow is landing on top, so it should be harder to be seen.
That'll take you quite a while to retrace all the steps and remove them like that, so that's absolutely fine. I would say that Ayami would probably help you do that. She would have experience in things like that too, and Dash as well.
And I'm gonna ask Madriana to see if her wings are any good at doing the same thing, brushing the snow, and to cover our tracks.
Yes, I can certainly help there. Rather than brushing it, because she wouldn't put her feathers into the snow as such.
Cool, man.
I just, flap every 5 feet just to get that kind of snow gust go over the track.
Once in every 20 or so flaps, it knocks a Dash on his ass. Just standing in an odd place, you slip on the ice, that kind of thing. Yeah, no problem. The 4 of you then will do that. The others will begin to set up the camp, I would imagine. So not far off from where you entered this area, where the bloodstain was initially found, there's a clearing down it looks like a kind of valley entrance to steep ridges of snow, but you can kind of go through, and there's a clearing area that you guys set up your tent. It's got like little old kind of remnants of structures that may have lived here before long ago, possible like outposts or stuff like that. So you just use your tents accordingly and kind of build up atop them. Baldur's Gate 3 style, you kind of show up in a campsite that just happens to fit into the landscape very well. So
if it provided any natural shelter, it would have been used, and anyone who ventured this way would use it, so it's an advantage. Just to clarify, just in case it comes up for future, I definitely put my pittance, rope, etc back in my bag.
Good. Yes. Richard remembers previous campaigns with me. I'm very strict about that.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Ryan remembers too. Absolutely. Excellent. Once you all reemerge at the camp, I'm going to give it sort of to Madriana. I would say that you would notice this more. Possibly, I would even lean into Hatsu maybe on this one as well. The buildings that are here, and the remnants of the buildings, be they stone, wood, and supplies that were used from the local area to make it, are charred, melted, burned, destroyed via fire. So whatever this outpost was destroyed pseudo-recently by just an incredible amount of heat.
Well, that looks like a hotspot.
I think that's the first time you've cracked a joke, Hatsu.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Honestly, that's probably what makes it funnier.
You know what I can't wrap my mind around is the tracks we found, right?
Hmm.
If the creature burns everything, why is there blood? And if something did harm the creature so it would bleed itself, where is that creature? Or the remains of it?
If I was to take a gamble at it, I would say that whatever that blood was from something it devoured rather than destroyed. Which is also why there's no remains.
But that would also tell us that it wouldn't have killed the humanoids to eat it, right?
Yes, that was either defense or attack.
Hmm. Or revenge.
That possibly too. I do think it's funny, and it's strange. It's something I was thinking about, but I hadn't put it together the same way that you just did. But if it allowed for something to bleed without burning it, that means it has the power to control the amount of outward fire or heat that it produces.
Hmm. Yeah.
Are you suggesting that this monster, can just choose what heat it wishes to emanate? It's not. When I fought the others, they were just creatures made of heat.
I mean, it does seem rather strange that every other creature that it's come in contact with, person, has been scorched beyond belief, but yet there was blood. That shows either a diminish of power at a certain time, or a sentience to control that power. I know you don't want to hear it, I know you don't believe it, but it could literally have been just defending itself.
Well, I choose to believe that the people from my home are defending themselves
Absolutely.
from the creature that's scorching them alive.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But as with everything, there's always three sides to the story.
Yeah. But sometimes two of those sides line up.
Absolutely.
Truth is not always separated from one or the other story. And sometimes if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck.
And when and if that time should arise, I would quite happily help you go hunting, as I've already suggested.
Duck is delicious, I have to say.
I
Some,
haven't had duck in a while.
Stomachs are rumbling in the camp, but
some good meat would be good.
there's suddenly an overwhelming smell, not of duck, but of a roast chicken.
Chicken.
Chicken just pops out from one of the tents with a big roast chicken just dripping grease onto the ground.
Where did you even... I thought he could only do that in the school.
Huh?
If it wasn't for the fact that I
It's
honestly
pretty-
believe that that's illusionary and he's just doing it to mess with us, I would actually probably try and wrestle him for it.
You think you could wrestle chicken? That I'd love to
For-
see.
Wrestle chicken for chicken?
Yeah.
Chicken just goes down on, lies down in the snow and just continues just devouring into the chicken.
Yeah.
Maybe with a bit more haste.
I'm going to try and sneak around chicken and steal chicken from chicken.
We get to use
I'm
my
going to-
favorite, most underused check. Give me an animal handling check, please.
I'm going to deliberately try to disrupt that.
Okay, yeah. Tell me how you're disrupting it before she rolls. Hang on. So,
Well, I'm currently giving chicken some scritches, so I'm just going to kind of turn her around to face.
okay.
But does Dash even see me coming?
All right, let's go with stealth first then to see if Dash knows what's happening. You guys are having a conversation, right? So he was looking at you, so...
Yeah, so I'll be actively keeping an eye.
15 though?
I would say you can make an active check because you were actively keeping an eye, and I would argue that that's true because you were having a
That's
conversation
fair.
the same way that if you guys try and hide in front of a monster...
It's a 2 for a 1. I don't give a shit.
They rolled a 2 and they got a -1 for a dirty 1. I don't know if I didn't know that was the thing.
So I just look back, scritching chicken again.
You look down and you look back up and Adriana's gone. Yeah. Adriana, with your 15, I would like your animal handling check, please.
That's
Oh, shit.
That's 20. Adriana,
What a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
time to get it.
you don't have to make that sleight of hand check I was going to ask for. You simply acquire the chicken.
So I
Well,
acquire the chicken, and while Dash is secondary, like, disillusioned by where I was, I end up sitting next to chicken on the ground and eating the chicken with chicken. Like, I just take a drumstick and start eating.
Not only because of that animal handling check, I'm going to say the chicken does not react as aggressively as it has in the past if people have tried to touch its food. But not only is this well cooked, like throughout, it's pretty much perfect. It is the perfect texture. It's not dry. It's like juicy. It's good. It's amazing roast chicken. Like if you've ever seen the cartoon Asterix and Obelix, when they eat chicken, it looks like good chicken, man. That's what I'm talking about. Like that level of like, that is what roast chickens are supposed to look like. Yeah.
I just give chicken, as in the fox chicken, a little nudge and just be like, no wonder you eat this so much. It's really, really good.
There's a little
Maybe next
tail
time,
wag,
though.
and the snow is just being displaced.
Yeah. Maybe next time, though, bring some for all of us, though. And just keep eating, because this is really good. And
It's
she's
really
been missing
fucking good.
proper good meat.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. What I'll say Dash notices at this point is that Amadriana's mask is a little bit different to what would be associative to what you would think a mask is. It has retractable points to it. It's more like, it has more sort of tactile features to it than just on off. And because of that, her face isn't particularly exposed as she chooses to eat. She just simply slides the mask up slightly and begins eating.
It's kind of like where the mouth point is, it kind of slides back.
Sure. Yeah.
So, depending on how much you would see, I would be happy enough to give you, because you're sitting that close to me, you'd be able to see kind of a
Would
milky
you like me
white
to roll a
pale.
perception check to see how much?
I think you'd see this, like, it wouldn't be... She's not exactly hiding it at this point. She's not... I guess she's not really thinking about what she's doing. She's more interested in the chicken right now, actually.
That's initially what I was going to call you on, but then I was thinking about our discussions of stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, this is how it would have been done. But like, yeah, there would be, like, you guys, if you're right beside each other, Dash was just giving scritches, you're sitting right next to chicken. There's probably like a foot between you at most.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is close. Yeah.
That's why I'm fair. I'm
But
free
Dash is
to
also
give it
not
to you.
super perceptive, but that's okay. We'll go with it.
Yeah, but like what you'd see is like a pale skinned, like really not milk white, but like pale skinned chin.
Like Kian?
Maybe a little bit paler, actually.
Oh,
Is that
damn.
possible?
Because of the mask, obviously, she doesn't really see the sun particularly too much.
Fair.
Yeah.
But
What your beard did for you is what her mask does for her.
Exactly. But what you'd see is a very effeminate, but very, like, sculptured jawline.
So noticing that, I just kind of move over to sit next to Amadriana and just loud enough so only she can hear. How many secrets are you hiding?
What do you mean?
You're letting your guard down a little bit more, Amadriana?
Because I like chicken.
Partially.
When you say I like chicken, chicken's tail wags a little bit.
Do you want some of my chicken? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying don't reveal too much of yourself. This is the first time I've seen part of your face.
Even though you can't see her face, and even with your low perception, I'm sure you'd probably be able to tell how her whole body stiffens up. And not to draw too much attention to it, but the mask will close up. and she'll get up and she'll walk away.
I'll just kind of grab your hand as you're going. It's like, don't worry, I'm okay with it. I just think you'd rather make those decisions consciously.
I've already failed myself too much. And she'll start walking away. I will say as well. Yeah, you'd probably notice when you grabbed her hand and you said that to her, there was a slight loosening of the hand. It wasn't as rigid.
Yes. Could I have some more tea, please?
At this rate, I'll be out of tea bags by 2 weeks.
I'm
sure we
almost
could
certain
stock
that
up.
when you got here, you said you had 9 tea bags, but we'll roll with it. It's fine.
Oh, she reuses.
Yeah, or you reuse recycle.
She's not.
Oh yeah.
She's not wasteful.
Didn't account for the other boot.
I'm sure there's probably some that fixed it. No, there's definitely not some in those rations. We'll have to get you some more. I'll get the next few because you've given me quite an addiction here. This is so good.
What type of tea is it?
Peppermint. Would you like? Well, it's not mine to offer.
You can get some in the general store.
Oh. Huh. There you go. Yes, we can stock up when we get back to town.
I'll have to use your money because I don't have any.
I have to use your money. Not can we use your money? I love that.
I have none either, but I'm sure Lissa has quite a bit stashed away, and probably Madriana.
From the tent, you just hear a dagger unsheathing.
Are we taking a kip then?
I would advise you get your energy.
Yeah.
Whatever this thing is, it's not going to be easy to take down.
Dash just hears in his head. I'll take first watch.
Orla, where would you like to? Would you like to take a watch, or would you rather rest and leave it to us? If you trust us.
I'll be fine. She walks over to the entrance to where it's about like 50 feet away to where you guys came into this little valley area. She just sort of sets up cleans off a stone and stuff like that, opens her backpack, throws down a little blanket, and she just sits there, kind of like leaning against a rock, like looking outward the entire time.
Anyone else want to take first watch with Madriana, or shall I volunteer?
I need a full night's sleep.
Absolutely, you rest. Alright, Madriana, you got me as your lookout buddy. Start the night again.
I make my face look really like old, beat up as much as I can, all obscure, and I make it look like two different faces mishmashed. And I go, "Yeah, I definitely need my beauty sleep," and just storm into my tent.
Well, that was horrific. I'll kind of set up my watch kind of in view, close to Orla, so she's within earshot, but far enough away to give her space as well.
After a bit of brooding, Madriana will probably go and sit next to him.
Something I'm going to change up here. Can you guys give me your investigation checks now, please?
Investigation or perception?
Both. Either is fine.
Which? Ooh.
20! Makes up for my dirty one.
Womp for me. 10.
Womp womp.
I'm not surprised, Adriana, because after all that just happened, when you sit down to do the first segment of your watch, there are thoughts flashing back to you of Verdwar, not ones that are reminiscent of home, but ones that are reminiscent of discipline and training. And the harshness that you have experienced throughout your life all comes flooding back. Your guard went down, but your walls went up. Just... to some it might be an adjustment period, or to some it might be even a moment of like, you know, a breakthrough. Like a psychological, emotional breakthrough, one of significance. But also, removing your mask like that had, in a sense, brought back the memories of those scars that are on you, that you carry, not necessarily physically, but internally. So it's hard for you to pay attention, but Dash is pretty on point for once. And with that, he's very on top of things. It's not that you discover an impending threat, Dash. It's not that you discover something of massive note or consequence, because you are in a safe space. This is safe for you. But you did discover a few pits that could easily be slipped into if you weren't watching where you were going. And so you just mark those casually so that people who are on watch later won't suddenly stumble in, especially when it begins to get dark. They're covered in snow, excellent traps, but they're not man-made. They're just places where there are dips in the ground that have filled it with extra snow, but if you're not careful, you could slip in and potentially, you know, suffocate or get stuck. So you mark those spaces, and you feel like you've got them all, because in that 20, I want to reward in some way. You guys may proceed. Rolls are out of the way.
Alright, well, looks like the place wasn't entirely clear, but it marked a few literal pitfalls. If you go there, Madriana, you're unusually stoic. Is this because of earlier?
It's quite the opposite. I've not been unusually stoic. I've unfortunately been unusually disregarding my surroundings.
Yeah, that's why you have us to watch your back. I called you a friend before, I meant it. I'll look out for you. I thought that might have been a moment you needed someone to look out for.
I was called friend once before. That didn't end well.
Do you want to tell me what happened, or would you rather keep that to yourself?
It's what the result of my injury came from. I let loose too much information to what I thought was a friend. And then when they used it against me and my family, I was made sure to never forget that again.
I see. Well, that would kind of fuck up your ability to trust on a major level, wouldn't it?
As if there wasn't already trust issues before that.
I can imagine in your circle.
In our circle, you seem to know at least some of the ways of our, how do we say, proclivities?
Hmm.
I mean, it might be a profession for me, but I'm still waiting to see you.
Struggling to adapt, to be honest. Now I'm used to the ponces and the pricks. They're easy to deceive and to play up to. I haven't quite yet learned how to perform, shall we say, to the more down to earth folk.
Yes.
I can play the fool easy enough. Almost comes naturally, some might say. Is he else laughing in her sleep?
She does that quite often, actually.
Hmm.
The worrying thing is, when she laughs, she tends to have a flame in her hand, so I'm not quite sure what that means.
Scares the shit out of me, that woman. But,
She's honestly the only one of us that I think could absolutely destroy each of us with no problem.
although I give Lissa a good run.
I would have until the boat.
Oh yeah, she's scared shitless of you now. Forgot about that.
I don't necessarily think that it's me she's scared of, but I do think that that would hold her back.
I think so. If it's worth anything to you, that makes no fucking difference to my opinion of you.
What, my family?
Yeah, I like you for you. Yeah, I wouldn't like you for your family, nor would I fear you for your family. You're you.
Well, for what it's worth, you're not too bad.
Thank you.
I do look forward to the day, though, where we're in with the pompuses and the pricks, and you show us a bit more of what you're capable of. I know all this bullshit facade of you're an idiot. I see through that. I play along with it because I want everyone else to think that of you. Makes it easier for you to do your job.
It got me a significant amount of information about the people here. Mainly, they really hold on to their prejudices. Probably could have guessed that, but it's good to see it in action. I mean, they were very willing to eat up the... you're a rich prick. Even you're the Prince of Palbroth. I mean, come on. Far too willing to agree with their own prejudice. Hatsu might be right, though. It might be a better way to connect and change their minds in a positive manner.
I feel that sometimes people like this seem to prefer to be told the way, not shown the way. It's just unfortunate that in general life, the people doing the telling are usually the ones that are the ones least worth listening to.
Absolutely. Should we go have a chat with Orla or Nifferby?
I'm sure she's already listening, aren't you, Orla?
There's no response.
I'll go tell her that I marked out the spots. I'm not sure. Actually, just DM, can we tell if she heard us, or if she didn't and just didn't acknowledge, or she just can't hear us from here?
Make an insight check.
Sure, I'm good at those, am I? Yeah, average 14.
Hard to tell from this distance. Likelihood is she really just can't hear you from this distance. There's a good, like, between the entrance and stuff is about 50 feet, so like it's there's a decent gap between you and her. It would be unusual if she could hear you this far.
No. Yeah, I don't think she can hear us. I better warn her about the pitfalls. Get up. Oh. Fuck, my knee's cracking this cold.
Immediately falls into a pit.
I didn't mark that one.
Damn it.
Doesn't
It's
count.
okay. I marked it now. Hands up from inside the pit.
One hand comes out with a thumbs up as you sink in.
Oh, no. No. Do not do that.
Yeah, you go over and Orla's sitting there, but her eyes, the piercing blue of her eyes just shift to you as you come across.
That's an intense stare. I thought I should let you know there's a few pitfalls that I've marked out, just in case.
Do you need them marked out? Should I have been doing that the whole time?
Well, if it gets dark and we can't see it, rather people don't fall into them and die.
Alright. I'll keep it in mind in future. We've passed about 30.
I know, but better safe than sorry. How are you doing? I imagine this isn't anywhere near your regular company.
Let's just say that... You know what? Let's start this on a different foot. This is not my regular company.
How are you feeling about it?
Displeased.
Does that come from a place of fear, anger, distrust?
The way I see it, I can fight this as much as I want to, but you're the people who are here with me right now, and I need to have your backs and you need to have mine. And I know that when we return to the town, you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You helped me get the body back, and for that I will not report your presence to the crisis response unit. And I will not tell them that you were here. But that doesn't mean that I have any intention of continuing another trip with you after this.
Oh, yeah.
Or sharing
Assumed
the
as
same
much.
space. But you are doing me a favor, and I appreciate that. You'll be rewarded accordingly and paid. Should we get this done?
Which is worse? The magical beings or the fact that I'm from Palparoth? Which pisses you off more?
Magical beings.
Hmm.
You being from Palparoth, I can tolerate.
I fucking can't. I hate that place.
It's not so bad. It's just the people.
People make the place.
Maybe, but in Palparoth I can get anything I need. If I need medicine, I can find it. Everything has a price, but I can find it. That makes a huge difference when you come from a place like this, where everything we have is scrounged or bartered.
I do wish you had better support out here. I grew up in the shit of Palparoth, but you're right, I could walk into pretty much any place and take what I want.
Yeah.
Used to have access. I mean, I guess to open my eyes a little bit, even me growing up in the shitholes of Palparoth and still levels above where others in this world might be.
I get this feeling when I talk to people from Palparoth that they're not actually listening, just waiting for their turns to talk. That would be the first identifier that you were from Palparoth. But for what it's worth, you have more to say than they do. I think you should be more careful when you consider your company, but I also see that your feet are firmly planted on that decision.
Mm-hmm. I've had my fill of humanity, so I prefer these, though. I'll take your note about listening. I think potentially trying to ingratiate myself into the higher echelons of Palparothian society might rub off on me a bit more than I would like.
Sure. But I think that with all things, there's a line. And the ones who try to fix that are the people who see both sides. I love humanity for all that it is, and you despise humanity for all that it is. We stand opposing sides of this line.
Well, to be fair, I don't oppose all humanity, just most of humanity I've encountered. So, like,
Well, there's one you seem to
80%.
be quite stuck to.
Kind of proves the point. Everyone's an individual. I don't like to, as much as possible, judge everyone in a general sense.
If you're going to end up with anyone, it might as well be your guardian angel. She watches over you with intense vision. I see it when she's behind you or away from you. Her eyes follow you and your surroundings.
I'm pretty sure if you tried to pull a knife on me now, she'd be out here fairly quick.
Yeah,
I'm grumpy as fuck.
perhaps.
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest, or honestly, you can trust us?
I prefer redemption. Not among this group. But this monster needs to die.
Precisely why you should rest. Be at your full strength.
I'll rest here. Keep my eyes open.
You can do that.
I could sleep. But well, let's just say I'm not like your friends. For me to get this kill, it would be a monumental task, and I'd rather stay sharp. If this thing gets the jump on us, we will lose.
It's not likely to get the jump on us with Adriana and Hatsu, but you don't know that. You've only known us a day, so as you will.
She doesn't even say goodbye. Her eyes flick back towards where she was watching, and she leans back against the rock again.
Dash just whispered to himself. It's pretty cool. Makes way back to Madriana and just give her a little fist bump and finishes watch.
She goes to not do it, but then she just does it. Because what Dash didn't know was while he was over there talking to her, Madriana went in and tapped Lissa awake and said, Dash said you need to get up now for some reason. Just thought I'd let you know. And then I go back to where I was sitting.
She's never getting a full night's rest. Well, she did last week if Richard wasn't here, but
Metagaming.
breaking the fourth wall.
Is someone taking second watch crossover with the Madrona?
Listen,
Yeah,
apparently.
Hatsu, I think.
This apparently.
I think Hatsu does the crossover between Madriana and Eos.
Okay.
Are you ready to watch?
Sorry, Windows just did reset my audio. I'm back!
Welcome.
Hatsu, you're awake.
Well,
took an
of
extra
course,
second.
I don't sleep.
What do you make of this person?
Anything out of the ordinary here?
Other than Dash actually doing surprisingly well at finding all the pitfalls around here. Well, what he told me
the
was all-
saying, even a blind chicken finds a corn? Something like that. Speaking of chicken, it smells like chicken.
I would say that was the most glorious meal I've had in weeks. Or what feels like weeks.
I'm happy for you. I was never allowed to have these worldly pleasures, I think.
You weren't allowed? By who?
Well, my family has a very strict diet. I mean, I'm crossing the line with eating these rations. But I don't want to go further, to be honest.
I understand. And of course, as with everyone's own decisions, I will support you in what you decide, but part of growing up is understanding your own limitations and what you choose for yourself. I'm not saying disregard what you've been taught. I'm not saying disregard your family's values. I'm just saying that you have your own values to also live by.
It's not about the values, I think. It's about efficiency. See, we don't usually treat food as something
Pleasure?
for pleasure. My mom does bake a very specific bread for pleasure as we were kids, but other than that, you see, there's a lot of ingredients in food usually that gives away an odor when you eat them. So does certain things affect the efficiency of how your body can work. And my grandparents were very strict with that, what we can and cannot eat.
I understand.
There was one person in my family lineage that got caught because he did choose to eat garlic in his meal. There were a lot of incidents where fights were on the very edge to turn each side. And that was the little pinch that gave us an advantage, so to speak. So that's why I think my family adopted these traditions of these very strict diets.
And is that something that lessens as you get older, or less needful of your sneakiness?
When you're out of duty, you're allowed to eat whatever you want, but until then, you're not.
As I said, I appreciate your background and what you've dedicated yourself to. You are by far probably one of the most honorable people I've ever met. But, I mean, you say that something as simple as what you've eaten could give you away. I understand, I get the principle, I mean, garlic would be a good one because, you know, it's quite a pungent smell. Someone may pick up on that. But then, if it's about being efficient and about being sneaky or unseen or be able to get where you need to go, I think I'm kind of living proof, and so is Alyssa, that you don't necessarily have to buy yourself from everything.
It's not about that, it's trying to give you the best of an advantage and an edge, if that makes sense. It's not only people that might have a good smell to get an odor, it's also the wolves.
I understand.
bears, you know. And it's also to get an idea if you very, very, very familiar of what you're eating and how it should taste. It's not very likely that you get poisoned, for example.
I mean, I
You-
definitely can't
you
argue
would
with that.
taste the difference in a matter of a second. It's just that I appreciate that are people that can enjoy, but as always, it's also worthy to keep certain traditions alive, to respect and honor their reason.
Absolutely. Maybe not when we're out on assignment and stuff like that, but when we're back and we're safe and we know things should be okay. I say should because, you know, things happen, but when we should be okay. Allow yourself to make some decisions. Not out of disrespect, but out of choices that you make as a man, not as the boy that your father once knew.
It was that man that chose to show you something that I've never shown anyone.
Exactly. You've already shown growth. I guess from my point of view, I guess I would just like you to enjoy something you eat for a change. That's all it is. I'm not trying to make you break any morals or your compass. I would just like to see you get some enjoyment from life.
Well, some might take pleasure in food. Some might take pleasure in understanding things.
I think almost everyone gets pleasure from some food or another.
I like my power balls.
I must try one day. See what the fuss is about. Do you make them, actually?
Sure, I can teach you if you want.
I mean, I'd be happy to learn. I might make a few adjustments so that there's a little bit of something nicer in it for me. But the principle will stay the same. Yes.
Well,
When we
I
get back.
might also make some adjustments to the next friends I make to make them a little bit more nicer, you know?
I dare say you probably could do better than some of us, to be sure. It's nice to hear you smile.
Has been a long time, I guess.
Yes, considering we've known each other for very little time, there has been a lot of shit that's happened.
True.
You know those
Well,
gentlemen
it's
that attacked us?
refreshing. Which one?
The ones that I dealt with one and you dealt with the other. That was the first time I ever laid my blade on a person.
Well, it's always the first time that keeps being imprinted in your mind forever. Just remember that you saved a life by doing it. It won't change the outcome that something has been murdered. But some of us have to carry it, I guess, until we reach the point, until it's not necessary anymore.
Don't get me wrong. I don't regret it. In the slightest. To save you all, I'd happily do it. I guess I didn't expect it to be so easy.
Killing something is one of the most easiest things in the world. To create something is what's different and difficult.
Well, I think if Dash and Alyssa aren't careful, they might end up doing that themselves. I'm gonna go and wake up Eos and let you carry on.
Before you leave,
Yes.
remember what you said to me. You have no regrets. Don't stop doubting yourself. No, don't doubt in yourself. Is that how you say it?
I know what you mean. And sure,
As you mentioned, I should try food. You shall not forget who you are and why you do this. And it's for a good cause.
how could I ever forget when I've got you by my side? And she just put a hand on your shoulder, get up, stretch yourself out. Good night, Hatsu. And she'd give like a little nod. And she'll retreat back to what is hers and Eos's tent. I believe we're still sharing. She fills up. She'll get some snow first. Fills up Eos's little pot that she uses to boil water up. Fill it with snow and stuff so that it's ready. Gently wakes Eos. I believe it's your turn to take over, my dear. I've already filled your pot. Enjoy your tea.
So kind. That was one of the best trances I've had in days. Oh, a walk in that fresh air. Oh,
Yes. It's quite tiring, isn't it?
it's good though. Better than a stuffy school.
Did you not like the school?
I like the school, but it's stuffy. I don't think they dust enough. But anyhow.
I'm kind of lucky in that, obviously, I tend to, around the place.
That's true. Okay. Better.
If I can work it out, I'll take you for a flight around the school one day. Show you it from all the angles.
I need to ask an artificer to make me a helmet.
That's possibly a good idea. Hatsu's keeping an eye.
Ooh.
Good night, Eos.
See, well,
And she'll settle down into the position she usually sits in. Even though she doesn't need to, she's kept a piece of the chicken behind to give to Albie. And kind of just settles into a trance state.
Oh yeah, pseudo cannibalism, but it works.
I mean,
Birds eat birds. It's fine.
You called a crow a chicken.
I said pseudo. Eos, you come out and you find Hatsu deep in thought, probably playing Tetris on his phone or something.
Hatsu. Kappa.
He takes the cup and he says, I was looking at this star formation.
Ooh.
And he takes a sip under his mask, like.
Question for you, Hatsu.
Hmm.
Tactically, what is good against a fire creature?
Depends on the fire it's using, I guess.
Some way, somehow, it can control it. Left a circle of blood underneath the snow. I can summon lightning, I can summon cold, I can summon fire, but skeleton hands, but meat on its calves and its hinds, surely some kind of a curse.
Maybe it's something magic related, like within my brother. What if his or its skin gets so hot that you only see the imprints of the bones?
Oh, what if it transforms when it calms down and soothes with the snow?
Or maybe it is a skeleton that has the ability to make it look like it has flesh.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You see, I still think that there's something going on with the religious place that we found, and there must
Yes.
have been a reason why all the scientists have been in the volcano.
The forgotten
There must
one.
be a reason why there was something killed in the trap at the altar.
Yeah.
And there must be a reason why the Yetis were scared to go deeper inside. And this must be related.
What if, and Eos is gesturing down towards the circular area where the snow and the blood is, this thing is more ancient than us. This is a sacrificial circle of some kind. This is some kind of a minor deity.
Might also be a deity that other deities wanted to be kept away,
Yeah.
and it's trying to find a way back to its place.
Do you believe we would be wrong to slay such a creature, or should we try and assist it? If it is such a deity.
From one side, I would say we have to do everything necessary to protect, but on the other hand, there is no shadows without light, right?
Correct.
So there needs to be a balance. Something has to be the balance. If you can't choose if you do right or wrong, there is no choosing anymore.
True. Once the blade is out, a decision is made. There's
What
always
I'm
a
trying to
process.
say is it's necessary for free will to have the choice. And there will always be things that choose the dark side.
When it comes to it, I will follow your lead.
So if it's a deity that tries to gain back power, I would leave it.
Agreed.
If
Or
it's a
we.
creation of someone with bad intents, I would try to have it on our side.
Oh, yes.
And if it's someone that loses himself to a path for power, I would happily kill it.
If it's caused this much harm so far, intentionally. It's a strange situation we're in. You're meant to get the elixir for...
In any way,
running.
shape, or form, the creature that have been described and the way this creature uses fire, I'm pretty sure it is magic related.
Yeah. It would have to be. It is a strange choice, though, to leave that person underneath the water.
Well, maybe that person tried to rescue itself from the flames and
Yes,
drowned himself in the water. Died.
Yeah. It's a sad way to go.
You know, I don't know. That creature must have been in the caves, right?
Hmm.
We saw a lot of corpses with hands on it.
Yes. It must need to touch to be able to.
But isn't it odd that such a mighty creature didn't kill the mightiest creature within the cave itself?
The thing under the water?
It should have seen us as a threat.
Correct.
If it's how we try to picture it. But it didn't.
Maybe it has no power within water.
Does your magic fail underwater?
Not all of it, no.
You see,
No, more questions.
no, a way to link, I think.
Yeah.
Because if that creature doesn't kill randomly, there might be some kind of conscious we can relate to.
Yeah. Hopefully, turns out like Gorbond.
That's what I'm hoping for.
But we'd have to make a fireproof house.
Or a will of steel.
I like that house, dude. That's good.
My grandmother once taught me in the school of the unshatterable heart, where you have to understand that if you truly go for something your heart suits right, you should never retreat, no matter the cost.
Oh, okay. I agree with that sentiment, though.
I think the most powerful weapon against something or somebody that is hurt, and he looks over to Miss Ranger, is by showing your heart and helping them to rebuild trust by
That's very
sticking to the values you live for, no matter what they think about you, no matter how much they spit on you. We know who we are.
Correct. She has some very strong determination. Hatsu, every time we talk, I learn more about you and myself. I really do want to meet your teacher someday.
That's why I would consider you smarter than me.
Oh, no.
Because I listen a lot, but I don't understand most of it.
I've been dropped too many times in my head to... We'll get to that one later.
Hatsu. You look over. Ranger lady, as you called her, picks up her bow and sprints with all her might away from you guys.
Hatsu would jump up, dash right after her and while he would pass the campsite, he would shout like a fucking maniac, but not words. He would just go, "Caca!"
This is like
and he would follow, like
yeah.
proper dashing.
Eos jumps up right after him, and she just uses a sorcerer's burst to summon thunder.
Listen, we're up.
Dash, if you could just keep it quiet for 5 minutes.
Get the fuck up, Adriana.
Why? What's happening?
We're running.
Oh, yeah, enough.
By the time Adriana gets out, it's her and Dash. The others have sprinted off. Two things simultaneously occur. For Eos, Slate, Hatsu, Ayami, Lissa, and Orla. There's a man kneeling in the snow screaming as what looks like fire rages around them. And the closer that Orla gets, because she is far ahead, she begins to pull back her bow with no regard for the person involved in the middle. And she releases. In what looks like a burst, the fire disappears towards the sky. It doesn't disappear, it's visual, sorry, but it moves itself towards the sky. And the man hits the ground. Dash, you and Amadriana, as you're running towards the exit, a light catches your eye, but not fire. It's from the side of the hill, a large doorway opens. Two people emerge. Miss Amadriana. He sent us here for you.
Who did?
Miss, it's... We need you back home. They kneel. Exquisite suits. Black. White shirts. Slick back hair.
I just fly up to, like, wings just pop straight out, fly straight up, grab one of them by the collar and just lift him straight up. Is it
Please!
Mother?
We don't know. He sent for you.
I just drop him.
He just slaps off the ground. He's not dead, but very fucking hurt. The other guy looks up and he starts to back away towards the door again.
I look back towards Dash.
We'll deal with this. Go.
I'll find you. And then just dip straight back.
As you enter through the doorway, vanishing, one of the guys goes in and he starts pulling the other one through, and as the doorway closes, it goes back into normal stone. Dash, you run down and you find the group kneeling above this body. An elderly man, charred, hurt. What do you guys want to do?
Fuck happened to him?
How bad is he, DM?
So take a medicine check.
Hatsu was happy to do that.
Make a kindling check.
While that's happening, I'm just kind of looking around to see, just looking around to see if I can get a beat on what happened.
I'll assist whoever's doing the medicine check because I'm proficient.
Okay, advantage on the medicine check, and then Dash, you can make a perception or investigation.
I think I might take investigation.
6?
Still shit, 6.
21 on medicine. This guy is like, body is like burned badly. Not dead, still breathing, but like the breathing is like it's real raspy and hard.
Hatsu, what should I do?
Hatsu wouldn't hesitate, and he kind of sees how urgent it is, and he would grab into the back. And he would pull out. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Or
He would put out a potion. Yeah. Should I just roll it in chat? Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, go for it. So you feed them a potion. The body begins to almost sort of not heal, but the wounds begin to sort of close, but the charred, burned skin remains. He like opens his eyes faintly. What?
Eos is stuffing snow up his pants, down his sleeves, just cooling.
Orla is just still pointing the bow up in the sky. She's panicked. She's like, shit!
Is this guy in a lot of pain?
Considerable amount of pain, considering.
I'm gonna stick a dagger in his heart and end it.
The fuck?
Dash.
Oh, it's a nat 20 as well. Holy shit. You stick the dagger down and the old man just...
I just look up to Hatsune and goes, that suffering wouldn't have been worth it. Take the dagger back out. Orla, do you see it?
Fucking... If I saw it, I would shoot it.
Do you see where it went?
Up!
Yeah, you guys got a beat on it?
Eos's eyes are glowing. Her canines are visible.
You see Hatsu's eyes become flourishing red. He is pissed as fuck, and he just watches you dash without blinking an eye.
Tell me all you want, that was the right call.
Bounty bitch, where is it?
She's still just pointing her bow up in the sky, looking around. She doesn't see it. It almost seemed... She describes it as fizzling out. Hatsuyu Jetta is not vibrating.
As I thought.
It's gone.
Yeah, and all the information that poor guy could have gave us is gone as well.
I'd rather not keep him in extended agony for any reason.
Oh, because you, the doctor here, right?
In this case, it puts the dagger back. Yes.
Let's hope that none of us get hit by whatever that was, because apparently that's the end if that's what happens.
If you're screaming in pain and your skin is on fire, you'd pray for death too.
If you look down at the body, you can see the almost charred flesh. The nose is completely gone. It's almost smooth. Eyes are like large and almost... You see it as the skull as opposed to the actual body itself. What looks like charred, almost stone or obsidian coming from like spines in the back of the head. The body has like deteriorated. Its muscles are predominantly gone.
You told me to be decisive, Hatsu. I'm sorry, but this is mercy.
I don't understand you folks at all.
Orla takes her bow and throws it in the snow, and she's like, shit!
You know this person, Orla?
I should have had it.
Do you know this person?
She looks down at it and she takes a deep breath and she kneels sort of next to the body. She starts to just examine what's left of the fabrics. These kind of almost purpley robes that are kind of like, not like oriental like Hatsu would be, like not that kind of vibe, but just kind of that sort of region, like these beautiful flourishy robes with these gold inlays and stuff. As it lays there, she's like, what would I even fucking recognize of this? I don't know.
Is there any telling information on the body? Or would I recognize the robes?
She begins to kind of like pull the robes open a bit, slide into the pockets, and as you're looking and examining this, these are the kind of robes you would almost find at the Arcanum, as opposed to finding necessarily where Hatsu came from, but with that same inspiration of style that Hatsu would wear. You've seen him in similar robes before at the school.
Hatsu would inspect the clothes a little further, since he would also recognize the familiarity, I would say.
Yeah, as you take a look at them, I'll get you to make a history check.
Historia.
18.
It's an 18.
There's something about them that offends you. These aren't Saigonotoshi robes. These aren't even Asazaki robes. These are some kind of... It's an affront to the things you represent. They were intentionally designed with that in mind, but to steal what it represents rather than to share what it does. When you guys intricately make robes and weavings and designs, it tells stories. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter if it's just cherry blossoms, if it's threads of gold, it doesn't matter. There's always a story. But this paints a different picture, something that just doesn't sit right with you.
He would look for a very specific emblem.
Sure, yeah, you start messing around looking for the emblem. You dislodge what looks like pearls around this person's neck. They're like, again, they're quite shiny, and there's this like strange glow to them, this strange hue. The jaw slides open slightly, and the teeth are less straight and normal like teeth would be, like in a rectangular square kind of shape. They are more jagged and pointed, like that of a lizard.
These folks again.
You recognize them?
He would look over to Ayame, and he would gesture like, come, have a look.
As she kneels down, there's quite a few of you now kind of kneeling down around the body. She like looks at the robes and stuff. There's something different about this.
Do you remember that they have these kind of units?
Yeah, but
Or
why? Why here?
I would assume they were looking for the same thing that the other investigators looked for that didn't make it.
Well, you know what they say about assumptions. As the body's eyes jut open and fire starts to flow from them and lava begins to drip.
Let's stab it again.
It begins to emanate so much heat that as you dive down with your blade, it begins to burn your hand. The heat begins to spread.
Eos is running.
Orla steps back. She picks up her bow and she pulls it again. The rest of you?
Gonna take a step back with the same dagger that was going towards it. I'm just going to. I think I have one to waste. I'll just try to like throw it.
Throw away.
Is it throw attack with the dagger? Oh, there's actual thrown version here, so that's good. $17.
Nice.
It hits the body and bounces off the hardened skin that would always be what we otherwise considered to be flesh. The eyes begin to glow to such a point where you can't even look at them. The body itself begins to emanate heat. It sits up and stretches its arms out.
Hatsa would slide a little bit back, but in between Dash and that entity.
As you guys
he would have his left hand at the hilt.
It's vibrating incredibly strong on your Jutta at the moment.
Ooh.
And as you stand by Dash, you find yourself getting lower as the snow beneath you begins to melt. As this spreads further and further. 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet. The heat is hotter than the Palperoth's sun.
You don't have to do this.
But that's the best part. As it begins to light like daylight here. That's where we'll pick up next week. Sons of Madriana.
Meanwhile, hello, Dad.
Back at the ranch.
Hello, mother. Hello, father.
In your father's office, the doorway closes behind you on the wall. He's leaning against the desk. This desk is pretty big, but he leans against it like a giant leaning against a mountain, like it's nothing. We need to talk.
Is Mother okay?
She's fine. You have a job. No one else can do it.
What?
There's a building that we cannot get into that we have discovered. One of potential historic importance. We've uncovered it, Amadriana. Milithir. The home of the emissaries of Paragon. And we need you to get inside. Because no matter what artifact we choose, and no matter who we throw at it, we simply cannot. But we think there might be an entry point on the roof. And we have no one else who can get up there.
What do I get in return?
Look, we can do this the fucking easy way, or the fucking hard way. Just do the job and go back on your little adventure.
When do we set out?
Now. That's where we'll end. I guess we'll find out how Amadriana did in January.
Next year.
Boo.
That's going to be a hell of a one shot.
It's definitely going to eat up some time. But for now,
Bring popcorn.
thank you so much for joining us on another session of the Wandering Isles. We super appreciate it. We appreciate everything. You guys are amazing. The support in chat has been crazy. You guys have been popping off all day, and it's really, really nice, and we love it, and we appreciate you very much. We also see it on YouTube and from the podcast and stuff. We get the comments, we see them, we read them, we appreciate them. We love it very much. we have a section in our private Discord where we put up our favorite comments and keep them and stuff like that because it makes us feel good. So we do really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. We will pick up here from next week. But I suppose for those watching on YouTube or maybe in Twitch, if you wanted a quick look at what's to come, a vision is presented to the players.
I don't like that.
Oh shit.
I'm looking
It's
forward to
definitely
next week.
not what it seems to be. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's not a god for sure.
Well, you have a week to think about it. We'll pick up at this point next week, but for now, we're going to take, I guess, 5-ish minutes, and then we'll come back and just do our post-show real quick. It'll be a shorter one today because that went on for a bit longer. Do apologize. But we'll be back in 5, and we will pick up from there. But for now, we shall see you shortly. Enjoy.